A great night for baseball at Coors Field. A little rainstorm came through, but it's cleared out, and it is time for Mile High Baseball. The San Diego Padres in town, very familiar with the Rockies. 10 meetings here in the month of April. Well, Chad Bettis, he has been healthy this year, and he's had a hot start to 2018. He's flexing a 3-0 record as well. If you look at Chad this year, a 1.44 ERA. That ranks in the top 5 in the National League. Third lowest ERA through his first 4 starts in Rockies history. And how about in his last 14 1/3 innings pitched, just 8 hits, 1 earned run. That's over the course of 2 starts for Chad Bettis. So excited to see Chad today. He's really been the Rockies ace, if you want to put a label on one.
Oh, and I would agree. You look at that first start he had against San Diego, where he went 5 innings, gave up 5 hits, just 2 earned runs, a little off balance, but he hung around for 5 innings. But the last 2 ball games, at Washington, at Pittsburgh, 14 1/3, 8 hits, only 1 earned run, and a lot of low pitches for Chad. And the fun thing that I like about watching Chad, he has his game plan when he goes out there to pitch. He knows exactly what he wants to do. And I know, Spilly, you were talking about it on the post-game show. He was 6 seconds.
6 seconds.
In between pitches.
Yeah,
that's unheard of.
That's unheard of. It's not a joke. You can see the record why. I think whenever you pitch at a high pace, you have the guys play great defense behind you. You see the low ERA, one of the tops in Rockies history through 4 starts. For me, when you start looking at the pitch usage, the fastball, it's not going to overwhelm you. It's the changeup. And for Chad, over the last really 2 years, he's developed that pitch to where he feels confident to throw it at any time, at any count, and it really has truly become a weapon for him.
Well, let's take a look at the Padres batting order today and who Chad Bettis will face. Will Myers back off the DL. He'll be hitting second behind Franchy Cordero. Eric Hosmer's hitting third. Jose Perella will be in the cleanup spot. He'll be in left field. Carlos Asuaje at second. Freddie Galvis at shortstop. Played every game there so far this season. Corey Spangenberg at third. AJ Ellis has kind of become a personal catcher for Brian Mitchell, so he is in the lineup as well.
A little different than what the Rockies saw last time with Franchi leading off. It was Manuel Margot that was hit by a pitch, so leadoff guy for a while. That's the one that kind of started that whole brawl that day. But I think for Chad, he goes out there. If they're a very aggressive team, they'll strike out a lot, so they expand the zone. They don't take a whole lot of pitches.
So Franchy Cordero stepping in, and we'll get this game underway. Chad Bettis first pitch for a ball.
So Andy Green's been talking about how enjoyable it has been to watch Franchy Cordero. Franchy hit a ball in Arizona a couple days ago. 400 and nearly 90 feet is the one we were talking about. Baseball should just call it 500 feet.
Why not?
Why not?
Feels like he needs to grow into himself a little bit too. He has some power to gain with his 175 pounds and a 6'3" frame. That ball's in there for a strike, so a 1-2 count on Cordero.
See if we go to the changeup right away.
Ball's high 2-2.
One thing for Chad that really stands out, not only how quickly he's worked, but he's left very few balls right over the heart of the plate. That center quadrant that we talk about. He has been a surgeon out there on the hill with his control.
Two in there to strike him out. Strikeout looking to begin. Not a bad start for Chad Bettis.
No, and a little cut ball underneath the hands of Franchy on that last pitch. Right out of the hands. It was a changeup, and most changeups for Chad will kind of fade away, but not this one. It cuts inside on the Subaru Supermo.
My favorite dancer on the field tonight, Tom Hallion behind the plate.
You like him dancing if it's against the other team. You don't like it when you're in the plate when he dances.
Jenny, there were times we'd walk up to the plate and we'd tell Tom, "You're not dancing on me tonight." And he said, "Well, you better swing it then."
The spotlights are not on you, sir. Will Myers, the second batter for the Padres. He takes the 0-1, 1-1 now. Will Myers just coming off the DL on Friday. Of course, he went on against the Colorado early in the season. Nerve irritation for him in his elbow. He said it was just real funky as he swings and misses 1 and 2.
Well, and he made a play in San Diego and then had to throw a ball back in, but it came on a swing that he had there, and he exited the game, and it was the 4th or 5th inning in San Diego, and really couldn't do anything baseball-wise for a while.
Watches that ball 2 and 2. I know the Rockies wouldn't have been sad if he had to stay on the disabled list.
He could have missed a couple more days, and the Rockies for sure would be happy.
He has a pretty nice track record here at Coors Field. Hits .330 when he's in this ballpark.
Don't forget he had the cycle.
That's right. Ball's going to foul off.
That was the first quick pitch we've seen tonight from Chad. Everybody's kind of adopting what Chris Russin first started here.
Hey, it works. We saw it with Chris a lot last year.
Worked yesterday for Chris.
Imitation's the best form of flattery, right?
Exactly.
Then we'll have to hear what your home run call is tonight.
Myers hits that one to left field. It's going to land fair.
Well, there you
In
go.
right field.
There you go with Will Myers. He is now hitting .500 against Chad, 10 for 20.
That was 2 strikes. Quality at bat for Will Myers. Not afraid to let the ball get deep. It's only his 21st at bat of the season now, 6 for 21. And the Padres need to have him in the lineup. This is a legitimate 30-30 guy in Major League Baseball. Keeping it right inside the line. What David Dahl does is excellent right here. This is an opportunity for balls that usually will rattle around. You can see a triple happen in a hurry.
Yeah, David Dahl roaming right field tonight. Of course, Carlos Gonzalez going on the DL and trying to get some extra help. I know David very excited to be back with the big league club.
I talked to Cargo today. He said he's much improved. You know, he was kind of bouncing around out there.
Dancing.
Yeah, so once they start doing that, you know he's feeling better.
Eric Hosmer, the batter, and Chad Bettis puts that one in there for a strike. 1-1 the count.
Don't be deceived by those numbers for Eric Hosmer at 241, because out on the road he's hitting .314. It's at Petco's, his kryptonite, 188.
Well, he has 7 more years of it.
His bank account's not mad about it, though.
Right?
Fouls that one off. 1 and 2 for Chad Bettis against Hosmer.
But I think you just, for me, you look at the RBIs for Hosmer. That just tells me nobody's getting on in front of him. It's really nothing that he's doing. And there's one guy, but now that Will Myers is back, you know, that helps their lineup. And Christian Villanueva is not playing tonight, but Eric Hosmer is still that horse where you say, yeah, he can't be the guy tonight. I'll let somebody else beat me.
Yeah, he is hitting .364 with runners in scoring position. But it hasn't, as you mentioned, Huey, been a lot of opportunities. He's in there for a ball, so it counts 2 and 2.
Well, sometimes a pitcher will show a purpose pitch, fastball in, just so he can get to the changeup away. See if Chad's willing to go back in with fastball, or if that was a purpose pitch to set up the changeup away.
That ball also going out into right field. The runner coming around, he's going to stop at third.
Great throw.
Great throw by David Dahl.
Well, you mentioned it, Spilly, that it go to something off speed. It ended up being a curveball on the Subaru Supermo that he goes down and gets. That's a good piece of hitting. But the one hopper to David, who charges hard, and I like that. He threw right through the cutoff man, so Hosmer couldn't see that high throw going over his head, and then advanced to second. You're still in double play depth right now, and you can get out of this inning.
Jose Pirello will step in the box. Rockies have 1 out. Runners on the corners. And need a stop. First pitch ball. Oh, so 1-0 count.
Jose has been a guy for the Padres that's been pretty consistent all year long. Leads the ball club with 25 hits.
Fouls the 1-0 off, 1-1.
47% ground ball rate for Chad Bettis. We've seen him get up to numbers in mid-50s. Still early in the season. You do know in the last start that he had in Pittsburgh it was 15 ground ball outs, or excuse me, against the Washington Nationals, 15 ground ball outs.
And the ground ball becomes really important with Perella because he has the second most this season with 45 ground balls. Calling no pitch, there was time.
That's too bad because that was a good pitch by
Great
Chad.
pitch.
That was a late one, and it's always hard. I mean, look, it's in the Subaru strike zone, but you're going to have to wipe away pitch number 3. There you go. Thank you. Just like that. That's television magic, folks.
So Bettis resets at the 1-1 count.
That's a balk.
So Will Myers will score.
Well, just think in the last, what, 15, 20 seconds, what has just happened? You know, time was called when a pitch was down at the zone, so you wipe that out, and then a balk. Chad just dropped the baseball.
Well, I think you go back to the dance a little bit. He quick pitched early. You're trying to get ahead. Play the mind games early. That ball's going to be fouled off.
And I guarantee you ask Chad about that. I don't know how many times he's gone out of the windup with the ball behind him, and he's probably dropped it twice in his life. Right?
So uncharacteristic.
Yeah, it's like, what just happened?
Here comes the 1-2. That'll be a ground ball to right field. Coming around is Hosmer. He's going to get the stop sign at third. The Rockies able to hold off another run.
The Padres are very aggressive right now against Chad Bettis. Not fooled by much, taking what Chad's willing to give him. 2 opposite field hits for the right-handers in Myers and Perella, and then an off-speed pitch down away for Hosmer.
Carlos Asuaje will be the batter. It's a 4th straight game now that the opposition has scored in the first inning against the Rockies. I feel like you love that stat, Spilly. What are the Rockies when the other team scores first?
Well, yeah, exactly. What are the Rockies when the other team scores first? The Rockies are 9-4. The Padres on the season are 6-1 when they score first.
I think it's more important, too, for a young team like the Padres out on the road.
Yeah, the Rockies are just 3-7 when the opponent scores first. It's been tough for them.
Jose at first has 2 stolen bases. The Padres don't steal a whole lot, only 9 stolen bases on the year. But they look to run more, taking the extra base.
Hello from Chad outside. Makes it 1-1. Yeah, Jose was dancing a bit at first.
Jose's dancing. You can tell Chad slowed it down. We're used to the high pace that Chad Bettis typically likes to pitch, and he's been slow since the very first batter.
That ball's going deep to right field and is left the ballpark. Home run for Carlos Asuaje, his 2nd home run of the season.
And both of them against the Rockies.
A 3-run shot makes it 4-0. It just doesn't feel like the Chad Bettis we've come accustomed to in 2018.
I think it was supposed to be a changeup on the Subaru Supermo, just looking at the reaction of the ball coming out of Chad's hand. And then he takes it into the bullpen.
First pitch to Galvis. High, ball 1.
Well, that is not the start you want for the Rocks, and especially after yesterday's game. So much emotion.
And that ball sent high to left field. That's gonna drift foul and out of play.
One of those emotional games with the Chicago Cubs, 3 hours and 45 minutes. You're hoping you can get back on track with the Padres in town, a team you're very familiar with.
The 1-1 to Freddie Galvis.
And to your points, but yesterday there's over 48,000 to sell out. And then tonight, it's just not the same energy in the building, but it comes down to pitching. You know, Chad had the balk, and then he's left a few pitches in the zone, which he hasn't done in the last 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, 3-1 count on Freddie Galvis now, and it just doesn't feel like Chad's getting ahead like we've seen.
You can tell that's the 3rd time we've seen him regroup behind the mound.
27 pitches for Chad Bettis. Here's the 28th. It's a swing and a miss. It's the count at 3-2.
Chad had a total of 85 pitches in his last start at Pittsburgh in 7 1/3 innings.
And the 3-2, a swing and a miss. So another strikeout for Chad Bettis. Out number 2, but the Rockies already down 4-0. Let's take a look at the Rockies defensively. We mentioned that David Dahl out in right field, Desmond's in left, Blackman in center, and then Nolan Arenado's at third, Story at short, LeMahieu at second. McMahon is getting a start at first with Walters catching Bettis. And I just think the opportunity for David Dahl to get back, to get in a routine.
Yeah.
Yesterday to get that first hit out of the way, being back. Couple slow in his first couple at bats. But
Yeah, I mean, there's no question. Left on left yesterday. First 3 at bats of the season. The Rockies are better off when you have a healthy David Dahl. And the dynamic he brings to the lineup and defensively, we've already seen 2 great throws from right field.
So 2-0 count on Corey Spangenberg. Not a lot of high averages for the Padres, struggling offensively this year. Just .213 for Spangenberg on the season, and he's worked himself a 3-0 count. Chad Bettis gets that in there for the first strike of the at-bat. Seen some lightning flashes.
I just saw that.
Around
We had
Coors Field.
Yeah, I had some rain. What about 6:15, guys?
Yeah, it was a little microburst.
It just came through. Mark Rasmus watering the field. Get
Going
up.
back of the nice play by Story. Trevor Story with the hops to end the inning. Gets that line drive. An inning that Chad Bettis would like to forget. He'll have that opportunity. 4-0, Padres lead.
the win. The Rockies have not been playing with the lead. 25 runs allowed in the first inning, including the 4 tonight. The pitcher's ERA is 8.22 in the first inning. The second inning, it goes down. It's great. It's 177. Third inning, 274, but it's just playing uphill too many times.
So the Padres take that 4-0 lead, and it'll be the Rockies' turn to attack. DJ LeMahieu is going to lead things off again. He's finding himself comfortable in that spot. Charlie Blackmon hitting second for the second day in a row. Nolan Arenado's hitting third. David Dahl will get a start in right field, and he's cleaning up. Trevor Story, Ian Desmond, Brian McMahon, and then Tony Walters. First pitch into DJ High, 1-0.
Well, if there's ever a pitcher to get the Rockies back on track, it's currently Brian Mitchell. And when you're looking at some of the numbers for the course of this season, it has not been pretty for him. 17 walks and 19 2/3. He has great stuff. Big fastball, curveball, just has not been able to put it together. A lot of people think it's mechanics, and oftentimes mechanics lead to strikes. Not enough strikes for Brian Mitchell over this short season so far.
I mean, you look at his stuff, like you say, Spilly, scouts love him. I mean, who wouldn't like a guy that throws 95, big curveball, can throw it a changeup, but his strike percentage is what really hurts him.
Ball 2 was inside to DJ.
Yeah.
He had to move out of the way on that one, and of course, we're keeping an eye on inside pitches this series. DJ swings and misses, 2-2.
Yeah, what happens in these situations? The umpires are also warned the teams and the guys that bring out the lineup cards. Okay, guys, no shenanigans. Might not be no shenanigans, but you know what.
Yeah, there's always shenanigans in baseball. The 2-2 again, high and inside. 3-2.
It's always curious watching the Padres and how they play and how they shift DJ LeMahieu. You can see where the left fielder is. It's basically left center, where most of Albert Amora Jr.'s catches were over the weekend.
And DJ with an opposite field base hit. We've seen that a time or two.
Well, and you can play him all you want to the opposite field. They'll still use that, but he'll come through where he'll pull one into this shift sometime, and he'll get at least a double or a triple out of it. But going with the other pitch, Supermo, belt high, he laces it to right field, and this is just classic DJ. Just keep spinning the hits over there.
Exactly right. So Charlie Blackmon in the 2-hole tonight.
I love it. Okay, I love DJ punts.
First pitch he'll take for a strike, 0-1. Hopefully Charlie can turn the music up on this one for DJ.
Turn it up.
Turn it up.
Had to get a cheesy pun back at you, Huey. Watches the second pitch, 0-2. Where was that, Huey?
I think it was off the Subaru strike zone.
Brian Mitchell with the 0-2 to Charlie Blackmon for a ball.
Now we've
1-2.
We've had this conversation before, being in a Rockies clubhouse, and you have certain pitchers that come into Coors Field with the numbers that Brian Mitchell has had, and you expect to have great success. But we've also noticed and learned that there are times that the visiting player will come to Coors Field and really start to focus.
Charlie strikes out. Let's look at the Padres defensively. Out in left field, Perella. Cordero's in center. Will Myers, as we mentioned, off the DL in right field. Spangenberg at third. Galvis, he's a workhorse. He plays at shortstop. Asuaje at second. Hosmer at first. And Ellis behind the plate. I mentioned he's kind of become the personal catcher for Brian Mitchell this year. Nolan Arenado with the first pitch. Which is that one for a ball. 1-0.
And I think, too, Spilly, with a pitcher that stands on the extreme third base side of the rubber like Mitchell does, that he can command the inner portion better than he can the outer one to a right-hander. And I think it's just the opposite for a lefty.
Sure.
It's hard for him to come inside because you really feel like you're going across your body so much.
Checks DJ at first, and that's a move that he made over towards the first base side of the rubber recently. DJ's going, throw down. DJ's gonna go to third. That's a way to get a runner in scoring position.
Well, the Rockies have now stole 10 bases on the season. They've been caught stealing 5 times.
We got a big jump. And then the cutter down to second. Slips by, so it'll be an error on A.J. Ellis at his first. DJ yesterday had a stolen base in the first inning.
Getting a little more aggressive as a leadoff hitter.
Excuse me, that's the Rockies' 16th stolen base on the season.
They've only been caught 4 times, so the 80% success ratio is above what you're looking at. I mean, 75 to 78, it has to be up above that mark.
Nolan's worked a 2-1 count. And that ball is shot into left field. Fire up the fountains. She's gone.
I love it. I love it.
Fire up the fountains.
There they come.
Fire them up.
With a 2-run home run. It only works at Coors Field.
That's okay.
But it works for the Rockies to get on the board.
That's what we wanted to hear, Spilly, right? We wanted to hear Ginny's home run call.
Well, off the bat, you could tell by the sound, and I was really hoping she was going to get it right off the bat. She did it. Fire up the fountains, Nolan Arenado. This ball is gone. I love it.
370 feet. Right over the wall. The Rockies back within 2.
It's good to have Nolan Arenado back in the lineup, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say so.
His 3rd home run of the homestand. 4th of the year.
Well, he's 8 for 13 now since coming off suspension.
Now it's David Dahl's turn. He sends one towards the shortstop. Freddie Galvis is there. And the throw is not in time. That's what you get with the speed of David Dahl.
If it wasn't for the play of Freddie Galvis, it wouldn't have been this close, because I thought it was going to go in the hole and make it out to left field. And he goes over and then backhands this, and watch him slide. And you'll slide so you're able to plant the right foot so you don't just keep going. He plants it on the Subaru Supermall. Watch how quick he gets up. It's like digging that heel in. It's still hard to get enough behind it. And it one-hops Eric Hosmer, but then David Dahl just legs it out.
So with 1 out, Trevor Story comes up with David Dahl on first. First pitch, a ball.
I don't know what's going to happen the rest of this inning, Spilly, but it's so nice. You get a couple back. You feel like you get a little bit of momentum back in your dugout.
That's any time you're counter punching, especially with the 4-run first. And to your point, the Rockies know. You got a game here at Coors Field. Anything can happen. 4 runs is nothing. You cut it in half, you're in a great spot.
Just start chipping away.
Well, remember, the Rockies were down 6-0 yesterday. They were able to chip away at it. Couldn't quite make it all the way back.
It's going to be a foul ball. Dahl was going on the pitch.
They've studied some film because they've got something on Ryan Mitchell. Either that or they just looking at A.J. Ellis and saying, well, we'll take our chances with him trying to throw somebody out.
Yeah, A.J. hasn't thrown out a runner yet. 0 for 5 on the season. And I think I've seen 2 high leg kicks from Brian Mitchell, so the Rockies are taking advantage of that.
Here's the 1-1 high, 2-1, and I think too we talked about speed being advertised at spring training. A lot more, they were, talking and preaching about stealing more bases, putting a lot of pressure on the other team. And even though they're behind right now, you can sense that pressure on Bryant Mitchell early. Mitchell checks the runner.
The other thing, it just opens some holes too.
Yeah, exactly. Now you're forcing Bryant Mitchell to pay attention, and this is the other aspect that David Dahl brings when he's on this roster. There's a little different athleticism. I'm not saying that Cargo doesn't have it or Gerardo Parra, but you're looking at a guy that's young. He's trying to make a name for himself. This is an aspect of younger players' games, is stealing bases.
David had 5 stolen bases back in 2016 when he was playing a lot for the Rockies. So I think that's another component of the style that he can bring.
In fact, he's checked him 3 times. I think you're in the cabeza.
Yes, you are. And if you're feeling good, then you can take off right now because he's not coming over a 4th.
Really?
Pitchers don't like to do that. They want to throw the ball home.
That pitch outside, 3-1 to Trevor Story.
That's a good hitter's count for Trevor Story, and the Rockies on the season just trying to find some numbers coming out of the 5-hole. 129 batting average for all guys sitting in that spot.
Trevor Story sends that one deep to left field, and the Fountains are going to get fired again. Home run number 5 for Trevor Story, the 2-run variety, and we are all tied up at Coors Field. That's what you're talking about, that you're never out of it.
That was loud. That one was loud. I just like the coil, everything in sync with that swing.
Oh, my. That's concourse, Jenny.
I'm sorry.
There's only one concourse.
Who else has hit it on the concourse before?
I'm not calling it out so I can talk about myself, but since we're here.
Ian Desmond swings at the first pitch, fouls it off, 0-1. Spilly has
handful of Rockies
named one of his home runs, Concourse Spilly.
Look at Vinny. He's like, yeah, I hit a few up there.
464 feet.
How far did Concourse Spilly go?
At least 464 feet.
But it was 463. Ian's going to have to try and leg this one out, and that's going to be an out. Number 2.
That's worth another look for Trevor. Oh, and maybe another one. Your StatCast brought to you by Subaru. Spilly set 464 feet, 111 miles off the bat at 29 degrees. Yikes.
That's as good as you can hit a baseball.
Yeah.
Hopefully no one hurt their hand on the concourse trying to snag that souvenir.
I think you wait till it bounces and then hits off the back wall.
Probably
and
had
then
smoke still coming off of it.
Yes, and then bounces again, and that's when you grab it.
It wasn't back-to-back, but sounded just as good. Both those guys.
Just like that, 0-0 game.
Yeah, it allows Chad to reboot. And that's what it does. You can hit the delete button, whatever happened in the first inning. Now it's, like you said, 0-0 as we start the second.
Ryan McMahon, the 2-0 pitch high.
At minimum, and I mean, this inning's not over yet.
No, so now the Rockies have a chance to get the lead
Get the
first.
lead.
Get the lead first.
I like this at bat from Ryan McMahon so far. Being patient, up 3-0. And he'll take his walk. He just seems so much more comfortable in the last week. Getting some extra playing time, big league life.
What's he settling into the routine?
Well, it helps to Jennings' point. Get a couple games under your belt. You get to listen to your walk-up song, find your toe hold at the plate, get that routine during batting practice where you can have an idea of what it feels like to get prepared for the game, get those butterflies out, and really take a quality at bat.
So Tony Walters steps into the box.
Robbie Erlin got the early call.
You're all about the bad putt today.
I am.
Tony Walters sends that ball into the outfield, making a run, and it catches Cordero, and that will be out number 3. But not before the Rockies have a chance to answer. 4 runs in the first off 2 home runs. First Arenado, then Story. It's a tied ball game at Coors Field.
Fire up the fountains!
Toyota Tundra and your hometown Toyota stores. And by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies.
How'd you come up with that?
Fire up the fountains. Actually, I sent it in a tweet yesterday.
On purpose?
On a home run. And I just said, wow, that could be the call. We joke all the time about home run calls.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? It's better than our Charlie Chaplin, the one we had in spring training where we didn't say a word.
I still think that will go down as my favorite because you quickly came up and called it the Charlie Chaplin.
I like Fire Up the Fountains much better.
And Chad Bettis facing A.J. Ellis in the top of the second, all tied up at 4.
Well, quickly, Chad's able to throw 2 quick strikes and get right back on the mound. You can see he's working with his quick pace again.
And there's strikeout number 3 on the night for Chad. The pace definitely picking up.
Chad threw 34 pitches in the first inning. So now it's 1, 2, 3. A.J. Ellis will go back to the bench and have a seat. But Chad also knows what his offense did against Brian Mitchell. So he doesn't want them to kind of lose their rhythm. They want Mitchell to get right back out there. So if we can get this 1, 2, 3 in about 8 or 9 pitches, that'd be dynamite.
Mitchell takes the first pitch for a strike. 0-1 count. He does have a .333 batting average, so.
Yeah, he's 1 for 3.
I knew you'd have the raw number.
Yes.
Fouls that one off. 0-2.
You're gonna see what his exit velocity is on this hit. Never buy when a pitcher gets hits.
You two and pitchers with hitting. There's a ground ball to Story. Out number 2.
6 pitches.
It just feels like a different Chad Bettis inning too. I know it's the bottom of the order, but even just his rhythm, his mannerisms.
Well, he gets a second chance, and I think that's what's important to Chad is as a starting pitcher, you want to go out there, set the tone. You give up 4 right away. That's not setting the tone. Then you have your teammates pick you up, and you're like, okay, hold on, I got us. Let me reset, come back out second inning, and he's done exactly what you wanted to see in the first inning,
including a balk in all of that.
Sure.
Where he just dropped the ball on the mound.
Back to the top of the order with Franchi Cordero, and the rain is now coming down again. Was not expecting this in the forecast.
I didn't see this one either. I saw it maybe a little bit tomorrow.
It's in there for a strike, 1-1. Cordero struck out looking in his first at bat. Ponchos are coming on. Didn't you say ponchos were your favorite weather
yeah, most
wear?
underrated weather garment.
Charlie has that for a quick 3 outs. 9 pitches for Chad Bettis. 1, 2, 3. We'll wear it out. Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Live Mas at Taco Bell. Feels like one of those games we might be on our way to that with how things started in the first inning. Each team put up 4. Chad Bettis, quick 3 outs in the top of the second, and now Chad Bettis' turn to hit. It's in their first strike. Strike 2. Or ball. Chad does swing at that one, fouls it off. Now it's a 1-2 count.
They appealed on the second one. The first place umpire said nope, didn't go.
Pitcher right back to the pitcher, and that's out number 1. DJ LeMahieu coming up. Had a single in the first, stole second, moved up to third on an error, and was plated by Nolan Arenado's home run. Watches that first pitch for a ball. I know it's been a couple weeks now that we've seen DJ in the leadoff spot. 2 days in a row, we'll see Charlie in the 2-hole. I know they'd like to find a more consistent lineup, but with the suspensions and now Carlos Gonzalez being on the disabled list, you're just going to kind of have to float around. And
well, think about this with Nolan's suspension And then Charlie being injured a couple different times, there was a period of 10 games where they didn't play.
So the Rockies news and notes that we get every single day, I have a number for you. The amount of lineups, different lineups that Bud Black has written out. How many games have they played? I'm not great at math. Neither are you, Jenny, so I'll ask
23.
Huey. Oh,
They
Huey.
played 23.
They've used 19 different lineups.
It's a lot. I feel like the Padres have used just about the same. Carlos Gonzalez, always a happy face, even when he's on the DL. He was dancing earlier today. He was yelling. That's what he does. Mr. Energy.
So I think he's eligible to come off next Sunday down in Miami.
Here's the 2-2 to DJ.
I like what Cargo was doing in the dugout just a moment ago, though. He was talking and hitting with Trevor Story and just kind of saying, you know, this is how you hit that last ball. Keep doing it.
Easy to do from the sidelines, huh? Here's the 3-2. DJ swings on that one to Galvis. Galvis fires to first for the second out of the inning.
Galvis has only made one error on the season for the Padres, and they're a team that have made collectively 19.
Freddie Galvis is the type of player that you'd have to watch him play every day. You'd have to watch him for an extended period of time to really appreciate what he brings to the table. He just has a baseball IQ. You can see it from following a relay throw. We noticed the cat and mouse game, and it wasn't Javier Baez standing in front of DJ. It was during a wheel play, during a bunt play in San Diego, and Freddie was fake running here and trying to back pick, and you just don't see that.
No.
How about durability? You don't see that.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy played 162 games last year. Not a lot of guys do that anymore.
And 159 the year before.
Charlie swings at the 1-1. It's now 1-2. I mean, we've seen Charlie do it. We've seen Nolan do it in the high, 155 and above. And this year, between Charlie missing 5 games with some injury and Nolan with a suspension, neither of them are going to get in the high 150s. Charlie caught looking, and that's going to be out number 3 of the second inning. So things remain the same, 4-4 here at Coors Field. We'll move on to the third. Fourth member of our broadcast team, Taylor McGregor, with a very special guest.
Thanks, Jenny. I am with a very special guest, Mrs. Sharon Robinson. So glad to have you here. You're with Breaking Barriers. As a kid named Jesse Queist from Cheyenne South won the award this year. So basically what they do is they send out an idea for everyone to go out and tell why they are breaking barriers, like your father,
Yes.
Jackie Robinson, did. And this guy was born without hands, and his arms were not normal.
Not fully
And
developed,
so
right.
he won your guys' contest this year. And Sharon, my question to you is, your father has had such an impact. He had an impact on Jesse. You're honoring him today. But people all around the globe, within the game and everywhere. But what kind of an impact did he have on you?
Oh, he had a major impact on me as well, because he taught me that struggle is ongoing and that we have to stay in the struggle. So that's part of what we see in Jesse and in his essay, a strong character and a belief that he's in the struggle and he's gonna not survive, he's gonna excel. And that's what we really look for in these kids. So that was probably the most important thing that my dad did for me, as well as taught me about service, and that was more important than making money. It was, impacting other people's lives was what was really important in life.
And so your father's so well known for everything he did on the baseball field,
Yes.
breaking barriers. But you, what kind of is there anything he taught you that maybe people didn't know of on the baseball field, or things maybe they don't know about him?
Yeah, he taught me, he didn't like to buy retail. So he would take me to Mr. Love, who was a little girl's dress designer, and that's where I would get my fancy dresses for the year, because Mr. Love would he was a big baseball fan, big Brooklyn Dodger fan. And my dad, every Christmas, my dad would go shopping at the wholesale market for his golf shirts and pants for the entire year, and then lay it out, and we go out there and pick what we wanted to give him for his birthday. I mean, he was serious about this. He didn't shop retail, so he didn't want us going into Bloomingdale's and buying him something for Christmas. So sort of funny things, but he also taught us the importance of family and God, and that's what stays with me and gives me a lot of strength.
Well, thank you so much. And Jenny Kavnar is breaking barriers of her own as the first female to call a Major League Baseball game on a regional sports network tonight. Do you have any words of advice for her?
Yes, do it well, girl.
Jenny, how about that? Do it well.
Proud of you.
Wow.
Very proud of you.
That means so much. Thank you. Tell Sharon thank you so much, Taylor.
I knew your family is.
That's-
I knew you.
That's really special to hear from Sharon Robinson. I mean, when you think about what her father did, not in this game of baseball, that was just the tip of the iceberg. And the fact that she has lived out his legacy so well. It is just special that she travels across the country and she makes stops at Major League Baseball parks and she honors kids who are honoring her dad.
Well, and to have it someone so close to us, just up the road in Cheyenne, and to be able to have somebody like her come to present this award, I mean, how special is that?
It really is.
That's pretty neat.
It really is. One out here in the third. Hosmer just walked. And Perella is up. I just think about, we talked about it with Taylor when we were remembering Kelly McGregor the other day, and how proud he must be of his daughter and what she gets to do and living out her dream. And I just can't imagine Jackie Robinson. Maybe there's a proud dad section up in heaven and they're just all looking down.
There's a certain proud dad section right there in the rafters.
It's very true.
Side by side.
The 0-1 pitch. It's going to go to left field. Playing on a hop for a single. So now the Padres have runners on first and second.
Jose came in hitting .444 at Coors Field. Now that's going to go up with his 2 hits tonight. I just look at this guy. He's hit .253 on the year, but it seems like every time he plays Rockies, he's on base. He's doing something. Carlos Suaje, Jenny, he hit that changeup from Chad. The 2 home runs, as I mentioned, have both been against the Rockies. One's been a changeup. The other was a curveball from John Gray. So what's that tell you? Maybe throw fastball?
You can definitely see the second in this third inning. Again, Chad's been struggling to find just his A command and his better secondary pitch. The pitch that Perella hit was a hanging slider.
Well, in the first inning, he threw 34 pitches. As Jenny said, the second inning, he threw only 9 pitches, 8 of them for strikes.
Well, he's already thrown 12 pitches this inning, and the rain is really coming down. You can tell on the helmets. That ball is foul.
The issue you have, too, when it's coming down so hard on your helmet is you get the water droplets coming off the bill of the helmet. So you got to wash that away. And then what you really hope doesn't happen is one of those drops falls right as the pitch is being delivered. That's no fun.
That sounds like a worst case scenario.
Yes.
It's almost like when you look up as an outfielder and you see the sunshine instead of the baseball, which Jason Hayward happened to find yesterday. Swing and a miss. So 1-2 count.
A lot more taking off with that off-speed curveball right there. It's probably the slowest one that we've seen. And I think there's adjustment for Chad is making sure he's taking enough off his off-speed pitches to get these hitters out in front.
Ball 2-2.
This is why he's the toughest guy to strike out on the Padres staff. At least it is relative to the number of strikeouts per at bat. Just like
guess
that,
what?
right?
It's not that hard for Chad Bettis.
No, but that's what I was going for, the reverse jinx.
I like it.
Okay.
Catches him looking for out number 2. Hey fans, join in the conversation. You can send us your thoughts, your comments, and photos on Twitter using the hashtag Toyota Talk. Looking forward to tomorrow night too on our Toyota Talk 25. Walt Weiss is going to be our player that we're honoring. So we're going to get some great comments from Walt, and I'm sure plenty of fans have great memories as well.
It's really coming down.
It really is. Freddie Galvis steps in, watches that one by for a strike, 0-1. I mean, fans are starting to leave. We're hearing it on our field mics.
They're
I mean,
hiding.
exiting to the concourse
They're hiding.
for a refill and some snacks.
There you go. Now, I've always been curious because I've watched games in the crowd before, and the second it starts raining, you know what I'm doing.
What's that?
I'm hiding under the ledges. I don't understand, but like you don't get tough points sitting in the rain.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But your favorite weather wear, the poncho, gets in use only in the rain.
Oh, you can wear it for anything. That's the point.
I have a feeling this is going to be one of our CenturyLink poll questions coming up at some point.
I feel like you maybe got a hint on that one.
Well, I do know that
Or you just gave them a great idea.
Pat Valeka's
Or both.
grandfather purchased me a Rockies poncho, and I have not received it yet from Pat.
Really?
Yep.
Wow,
Ask and you shall receive. Thank you, Mr. Valeka.
that's very nice of Mr. Valeka. Chad checks the runner at second.
Yeah, those are great.
I think anybody that's been to Disneyland or Disney World has also bought those Mickey Mouse ponchos when they've been there.
High fly ball up to center
Trevor
field.
lost it. Trevor lost it.
Everybody lost except for
But
Ian.
guess who didn't? Ian Desmond comes in for the rescue. That'll end the top of the third, stranding 2 runners. Still 4-4.
comes Jenny.
That's right. Nolan Arenado did it with his home run in the first inning. 2-run shot. 4th of the season.
I don't think it gets too expensive. I think the Rockies have a deal to fire up the fountains. They can do it as much as they want.
Many times.
Yeah.
Well, with the rain tonight, they're collecting a lot more water. Since Earth Day was yesterday, we're just being conscious about the environment.
Jenny,
As you didn't let me finish, as we just celebrated a day. It's like Mother's Day, right? Every day is Mother's Day.
Every day is Mother's Day.
One day to celebrate it.
Well, speaking of Mother's Day, before it gets too far along in this broadcast, I have to wish my wife a happy birthday, Wendy.
Happy birthday, Wendy.
So this is what you give her when you don't buy her a present.
Right,
You
exactly.
Give her a shout out
Shout out on TV. I bought her flowers. Come on, man.
Insert flashy graphic
Right,
that says
there you
happy
go.
birthday, Wendy. With your Bitmoji that you have. You're hip now. High fly ball up to left field.
Too. Well, it's just that sky right now with some of the rains, but it has more to do with the lighting right now.
So is this different? We got on a conversation at spring training, Huey, about the high sky.
This is different.
So I know this is different
Yes.
because it's the nighttime, but what would you call this? I'm trying to have you label it then.
Oh boy, twilight sky.
Ooh,
Twilight.
The twilight sky, because what happens? The ball
Twilight
goes up.
zone.
Yes, it goes up into that twilight zone.
I like that. David Dahl for his second at bat of the game. Sends that one out to Freddie Galvis for out number 2. Trevor Story's coming up, and of course we got to look back at his home run, and no doubter, 111 miles off the bat.
And the fountains had just kind of gone down, resettled the waters out there, and then he hits it, fired it back up, fountains go off.
You guys are welcome. I gave you jokes for years. Jokes for years.
Oh, that's a T-shirt for years.
Oh, I see what you're doing there. T-shirt.
Watches the first pitch for a ball.
I'm an extra large T-shirt, by the way. I'm just throwing it out there.
Purple fountains on a black T-shirt.
Keep it up. 2-0 to Trevor.
415 stenciled in silver.
You've thought about this now.
I don't know if you do the yellow line.
You don't.
Trevor swings in the 2-0. That one drifts foul.
It's good to see Trevor 3-1 count, get the barrel out with what didn't look like he was cheating fastball. Looked like he was trying to do some damage with the swing, but there's times where a guy is cheating fastball in, and that's pull your front shoulder out, the hip flies out. That one, it looked like the shoulders were square. He just took an aggressive swing.
That felt like an aggressive pitch. I think that one slipped out. Brian Mitchell's hand as the weather has let up a little bit. The rain has let up a little bit. Still a lot of moisture on the baseball, I'm sure. Now Trevor will happily take a 3-1 count.
Again. We'll see if he gets a 3-1 fastball middle in.
See if that ball stays in play. Does not.
It had a little cut on it going away from Trevor.
Trevor kind of wiping his cleats off in the grass.
And even that ball, Jenny, Will Myers lost it in the twilight. And the reason why it's so difficult, we're trying to describe it as an outfielder, the ball almost matches what the evening sky looks like. And that's why it becomes so difficult, where you're able to pick it up as if you have an angle on it. That's why your teammates are so important.
Trevor will work a walk. Mitchell's had 5 3-ball counts, and that one, of course, resulting in a runner now.
He's kind of kicking at his cleats. And there's 2 areas on the field that are a little different, and that's the mound in the batter's box, because there's clay there. They don't want those to be dug out quite as much. So the clay gets into your cleats and gets it really heavy, and it doesn't allow you to land like you want, either as a pitcher or a hitter.
Checks over at Trevor's Story as Ian Desmond comes up for his second at bat of the game.
The Rockies have been aggressive, Jenny, early in the counts. We saw DJ LeMahieu, we saw David Dahl attempt to steal. Trevor has 4 steals on the year.
Trevor takes a big leap. It stays at first. Ian Desmond down 0-1 in the count. Runners going, and Trevor will get there easily as the ball hit the backstop.
That's 17 stolen bases, just been caught 4 times. You go back to last year, the Rockies had 59 total bases, but they were caught 34 times. So it was just a success rate of 63%, well below what you're hoping for. But this year, at least early going, they're 17 for 21.
Now you're hoping for a 2-out hit for the Rockies. 189 batting average with 2 outs and runners in scoring position.
And Desmond will watch the 1-1, now 2-1.
So we've noticed with Ian Desmond, he's been hitting left-handers well. Right-handers, it's been a struggle. He's 3 for 47 on the season against righties.
She's going to step off the mound.
He had to. The second baseman was out of position to Suaje. He had flashed the open hand, wanted a pickoff at second. Mitchell didn't want to throw, so he had to. Otherwise, there would have been a gaping hole at second base.
There's the 2-1, and Desmond swings and misses. 2-2.
Before Gerardo Parra went on the suspension list, he had a couple of bats against a lefty on left. Same with Ryan McMahon, and we always find those really important. To either go right on right, left on left, try to force your front shoulder in, but sometimes for Ian getting 2 hits yesterday against a lefty, you're hoping that carries over into at bats against a righty.
Desmond calls time. Field, and Ian's going to go for extra bases as Trevor Story comes home, and the Rockies take the lead 5-4.
RBI of the season for Ian. Just snuck that one inside the bag. Yeah, inside out on that running fastball in the Subaru Supermo. Just a bit tardy on it, but it was still a good path as it's coming through. And the Rockies up 5-4. 2-out knocks, you love it.
Now Ryan McMahon's going to get his opportunity with the runner in scoring position and 2 outs.
It's just funny how it all works out, right? You start looking at the math, you start looking at the numbers for Ian. He was 3 for 47 against righties, make that 4 for 48 now. And the numbers with 2 out runners in scoring position go from 189 to probably creeping close to 200.
You reverse jinxed, as Huey likes to call it.
We've done it twice.
See, you guys should get the credit for that.
Exactly,
right?
Thank you. Because we get the credit if we say something about somebody.
That's right.
and it happen or it doesn't happen, then you're like, oh, the announcer jinx.
Then you get all the boo birds
Right.
on you. I'm
Exactly.
awarding you gold stars.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
That's the most we've ever been given.
Here's the 2-0. Grounded to short. And that's going to be all for the 3rd inning, but not before the Rockies get a run and take the lead 5-4 off an Ian Desmond RBI double. Baseball coach. Is it Lou Brown from Major League, Jimmy Dugan from A League of Their Own, Buttermaker from Bad News Bears, or Skip Riggins from Bull Durham? Go to AT&T Sportsnet RM on Twitter to cast your vote. We'll show you the results coming up on the Toyota postgame show. All right, you each get a vote.
Go ahead, Billy.
Lou Brown. Come on, how can you not love Major League? It's one of the best baseball movies ever.
There's no crying in baseball.
That's really good.
Jimmy Dugan's mine.
Jimmy Dugan.
A League of Their Own is one of my favorite baseball movies, but his character from start to finish is just the best. He becomes a big softie after being a washed-up ball player.
There's nothing wrong with being a washed-up ball
being
player, but
soft after being a washed-up ball player. I mean, I cry all the time.
That's why you guys are so lovable.
No, so that one to me, I think, Jimmy Dugan. I like that.
Do you remember when he was like, Stillwell, started yelling? Do you remember Stillwell in the movie?
Yes.
The little kid?
I don't remember.
Stillwell Angel. Mom always called him. Oh, just great scenes. Well, we can't wait to see who the winner is coming up on the Toyota postgame show.
I got a guy on the other line asking about some white walls.
We really need Corey Sullivan in here because he is the movie quote genius.
Doesn't matter what genre either.
Corey Spangenberg will be the first batter here in the top of the fourth, and that ball's in there for a strike.
Just on the inner corner on the Subaru strike zone. They went in another 3 inches inside to Corey and fought that off.
So Bettis gets ahead in the count, 0-2. Myers hits that one to DJ for out number. Spangenberg, excuse me. They have the same height.
And that's just the second ground ball out tonight for Chad.
A.J. Ellis will be the batter with 1 out. First pitch in for a strike. Now Chad's back to working in that rhythm. We'll call it the rhythm.
The rhythm
of the night?
That's right. Only if you have your disco shoes on.
Always have them on.
High fly ball to center field. Charlie Blackmon get under that for out number 2.
But not too far away from him was Ian Desmond. I think that what's happened now is it's gotten a little darker, but the lights of the ballpark are starting to take over.
The first 10,000 fans through the gates for the Rockies versus Padres game tomorrow night will receive a coupon for a Nathan's Famous $1 hot dog, the most delicious sandwich you could possibly have.
You put that in there.
It's not a sandwich. Brian Mitchell grounds it to Trevor Story, and that will be out number 3. The rhythm is back indeed. The rhythm of the night.
Fire up the fountains.
minor leagues making some noise. We got to go to Down on the Farm. Brendan Rodgers, the shortstop, having himself a week. He is named Eastern League Player of the Week. He's hitting .520 with a homer, 4 doubles, 6 ribbies, 3 runs, and an 8 slugging percentage, guys. How about that? And yesterday he went 5 for 5 at the plate. So I'm saying that's pretty good. I think we have a future in shortstop. Not that Trevor Story isn't good as well. He just hit a homer, but there's good players all around. Depth.
That's right. There's depth. You have good depth and good baseball players, and that's what Brendan Rodgers is. We saw him in a couple different positions at spring training and getting another big league invite. That's pretty cool for him just to be around the guys. In fact, I know he loves to just kind of watch Trevor Story and see how he goes about his business, and then to put up the numbers in the minor leagues. I know
he got off to a slow start too,
but people are taking notice this week.
That's great. Good for him. Learn from watching others.
That's the aspect. I think the minor leagues, unlike other sports, NFL with all the mock drafts, thank goodness it's finally gonna be over. NBA, typically when you get drafted, you're on an NBA team. With baseball, you go through the minor league system most of the time, unless you're Pete Incaviglia or Jim Abbott. And the reason why is that it's such a grind, it's such a mental strain on you, just understanding the ups and downs, that it's necessary to go 3-4 years in the minor leagues to get an idea of how to prepare yourself.
Tony Walters gets ahead, now 3-0. I think you're right on 2 fronts. Number one, thank goodness the NFL draft is almost over.
Yeah, and Josh Allen can finally be the #1 pick.
Wyoming Cowboy.
But you're right.
There's the first strike.
That's the biggest difference. Is you have to, what is it, like 1,200 at bats in the minor leagues?
1,500 is what they'd like to sprinkle on everybody.
Walters swings at the 3-1 pitch to the second baseman for out number 1.
Think how many years of broadcasting you've been doing, Jenny?
Yeah, I mean, I think any craft, right? What do they say? It takes 21,000 hours.
10,000.
10,000.
No, to become an expert. Is it 10,000?
10,000.
Yeah, 10,000.
Well, then it takes 21,000 to become a super expert at something. Chad Bettis is the grounder to a Swahe for number 2. Well, it's time for our Lowe's whole team together. We're talking Rockies stolen bases. You guys mentioned it. 17 of them now. Trevor Story leading the way with 5. Enjoy having extra speed on your team.
Speed kills.
Just that extra 90 feet. It's a big difference, not only for the guy at the plate, but defensively, which you can try to do.
DJ with a stolen base in this game as well. He's 1 for 2. Scored a run. Now behind in the count, 0-1. Ball's high, 1-1.
Seen a whole lot of curveballs or changeups from Brian Mitchell. Thought he might sprinkle a few more changeups in tonight, but had command of those.
Single for DJ.
Well, I guess the shift there did accomplish one thing for the Padres.
What, that he didn't go complete opposite field?
Or that it wasn't a double. Because, I mean, he split that gap where he is out there, and he gets it on one hop. But normally that would be a double.
So DJ turned 2 hits tonight?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? 2 hit singles.
Last 2 at-bats for Charlie Blackmon. He's been a little bit demonstrative to home plate umpire Tom Hallion, who did not like the strike 3 call his last at-bat. He, in fact, took a 1-1 pitch he didn't like. Pay attention to Charlie, his patience level.
Charlie takes the first pitch inside for ball 1. It's rare you see Charlie strike out multiple times in a game. So far, 2 strikeouts for Charlie.
Billy, you know what it's like when you're in that box and an umpire calls a pitch that you didn't think was a strike, but then they go back out there where they have 2 strikes, and you end up just kind of flailing at it because you're thinking, well, I don't think it's a strike, but he called it a strike. Now I've got to swing, and believe me, folks, all of that goes through your mind in 4/10 of a second.
I was going to say, in 4/10 of a second, to have that many voices in your head.
Well, this is the count that we mentioned. 1-1, the swing count. If you get a borderline pitch in a swing count, that's what happened to Charlie in the first at bat. He completely switches the averages. I'll give you the example, Jenny. You'll love it. If it swings to 1 and 2 on the strike, hitters are hitting 159. That's league wide. If it goes to 2 and 1, the league's basically hitting 349 in that at bat.
I do like that, Spilly. I always like your fancy numbers. And Charlie strikes out for the 3rd. No, sorry. I'm sorry. I got really confused there.
My fancy numbers.
Fancy
They really
numbers.
did.
It was Billy's fancy numbers.
I apologize. We're just going to back up. That was 2 strikes on Charlie. You got in my head with the 4/10 of a second, trying to think of all these things.
Yeah. Right.
How many
Spilly's
voices?
numbers.
Yeah,
How many voices?
I got a lot of
up
voices
here.
in my head. All right, we'll reset. The 1-2 pitch coming to Charlie.
I think DJ's going to look to run on this pitch.
That he does. He's out on the tag. So putting the pressure on did not pay off that time as DJ got caught stealing to end the inning. Charlie will be back up in the 5th. We move on to top of the 5th, 5-4.
And today, the fun we've had has been with Ginny, getting all these hugs and high fives, congratulatory texts, phone calls, emails, faxes, what else? Instagram, Twitter, you name it, congratulations.
The faxes are my favorite.
Right?
Faxes.
You sent me one this morning. No,
Just sent
it's
a
been
fax?
a ton of fun. I mean, we have such a great team of people here, and it's really a team effort from us to the guys in the truck, and I really have to thank them and thank the people that put their necks out, you know, including our producer Allison V. Hill.
She's the one that's kind of spearheaded this
She
whole
really has.
group.
Ken Miller, our former executive producer, a while ago started pushing things.
That's right.
So it's been fun. I think, you know, at the end of the day, we all talk about it. It's baseball. We just want to have a fun broadcast, and we hope at home that that shines through for you.
And look, it's historic, Jenny. I mean, we got to acknowledge that it's special. I mean, we know that there's been a couple other female trailblazers, and you're one of them. I know I've received several texts tonight from people that said, you know, my daughter's watching tonight. They typically won't watch a baseball game, and tonight you're the reason.
Well, that means a lot, as Bettis got ahead on Franchi Cordero, 0-2. Fouls that one off. I mean, I think it means so much, Billy, because that's how I got my start. I remember watching Monday Night Football with my dad when I was in high school, and Melissa Stark came on as the sideline reporter, and it was the first time I saw someone that looked like me, and it clicked. Like, I love sports. I could do this. You know, it was that first moment. So it means a lot to just continue what plenty of women have gone ahead and done before me.
And you do it well.
Well, thank you. I have great teammates. I really enjoy working with you guys. And people ask all the time, right? Do you guys really all get along that well?
No.
No, it's all fake. It is all fake.
Now you're going to tell them the truth? That we do kind of all get along?
We get along. Yes. Just fine.
Well, watch this strikeout.
Well, you can watch something fly off of Cordero's hand if we maybe catch it on the, yeah, there it goes, right on the Subaru Supermo. That was his thumb guard. He swung so hard his thumb guard came off his thumb. But he doesn't need it when you don't make contact.
That's a good point.
It's very true. Will Myers steps in. 1 for 2 on the night. Get a double in the first.
Well, the first time through the lineup for Chad, he was just 3 for 9 first pitch strike. Second time he was 7 for 9, and now here for the first 2 batters, he's 2 for 2.
Oh, and 2.
Well, if there's any sort of tightness left in Will Myers' right nerve inflammation, that's not evident with the swings he's taking.
High for ball 1, 1 and 2.
Still not as violent as Javier Baez.
Ooh.
He put his whole body into it.
Yes.
Evens up the count, 2 and 2. Right back to Chad Bettis. He's going to throw it over to McMahon for out number 2.
Calling out college students. College night at the ballpark is Friday, May 11th. The college student ticket package includes a game ticket and a Rockies themed hat. Visit rockies.com/college tickets for college tickets or for tickets.
Do you have those nights off? Do you go as a college student?
He still
No, I
tries.
can't.
Do you make fake college IDs for each night?
No,
like a
he had
fake
he had
CSU ID and a fake
ID
CU?
in college.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what he had.
Okay.
I mean, if I could play off the grad student.
A really old grad student.
Get my 5th degree.
Hey, that's okay. You probably still use your Santa Barbara student ID to get into the movies at a discount. The pitch in there for a strike to Hosmer, 1 and 1. Kind of shook his head at that one.
I didn't think it was a strike, but we saw in the Subaru strike zone it was. A quick pitch. Threw off the timing.
Chad Bettis from the 1-2. Didn't work out so well that time. Got past Walters. You can do that when there's no
Nobody
runners
on.
on. He kind of had
I'm
to
just
chuckle
saying-
at that one.
Yeah, you have to.
Chad has a great sense of humor. Throwing a ball, quick pitch, 54 feet. Even Eric Hosmer kind of smiled at him too.
Swings at the 2-2, fouls it off. 2. Chad's 86 pitches now. He had 85 pitches in his last outing where he went 7 1/3.
34 in that first inning. Just 9 pitches in the second, 20 in the third, 7 pitches in the fourth.
That's a 9th pitch of the at-bat. Now, yesterday, Jenny, there was a 21 pitch at-bat in Anaheim between the Giants and the Angels. That's right, Brandon Belt. It was 12 minutes and 45 seconds.
Can you imagine
Did they
keeping
call
your
timeout?
concentration? Fouls off another
I
one.
think you bring
Pitch
up a
number
great,
10.
yeah, great point, Jenny. Your concentration for 21 pitches.
So
Yeah.
some of the funny things that went through people's minds. I know Brandon Belt after the game said, I usually yell at people, just put the ball in play. Now that he did it, and it's a record, he feels like he owes everybody an apology.
To Hosmer misses, so he will walk. And the Padres have their first base runner since back in the 3rd inning.
A second walk today for Hosmer. I think you look at the Padres, and we said it back in the first inning, they just don't walk very much.
Hosmer was trying to be extra patient, had a rough road trip coming in, just 1 for 11.
Good pitch, first pitch, curveball at the bottom of that Subaru strike zone. And I think if you're thinking about this for Bud, he's at 91 pitches. You get him through this inning, get a chance for a W, and then turn it over to the bullpen after that first inning and how long it was.
Here's the 0-1 to Jose Perella. This is down 1-1. Perella watches strike 2, 1 and 2.
Let's see if Chad can make Tom Hallion dance one more time.
Swinging bunt. Tony Walters mask off and makes the throw to first for the out. Rockies get out of it, stranding 1. We head to the bottom of the 5th. The Rockies keep their lead 5-4.
Bottom of the 5th, Chuck Nasty at the plate, and he was pretty good there yesterday. He had some career milestone with the Rockies. How about this? He had his 119th homer. That ranks him 10th all-time in Rockies history. 901 hits, 500 runs, and those both 7th in the record of the Colorado Rockies. And yesterday, he just had a lot of fun. He went to the Avs game and enjoyed some company. Him and Trevor Story able to pop on over there and cheer on the Avs. Unfortunately, they didn't cheer loud enough. There's Chuck Nasty. Everybody's welcoming him back, and he goes crazy. That's why we love him. A lot of personality. And there's Trevor enjoying it as well. Trevor not as outgoing, but, you know, I'm sure he cheered just as loud. Unfortunately, guys, we know not enough to get the Avs the win, but still so awesome they were able to make it that far.
Yeah, they love supporting the other local teams here in Colorado. They both brought their fiancés. Congratulations to both couples getting engaged this offseason. Charlie on the 2-1. He's going to round out an easy one for Hosmer to take.
This Gabriel Landeskog jersey on did Charlie last night.
Guts everywhere.
Guts everywhere. What season they had turned around from the year before. Very young team. They were exciting to watch for sure.
It was fun to see playoffs back at the Pepsi Center.
Yes, it was.
Get the Avs fever back.
It was nice to see the fans too, even after they were down and they were losing the last couple minutes, to standing and cheering. They recognized the fact that they had a great year.
It was their thank you moment, no
Yep.
doubt.
Guts all over the place.
Mosier's call was amazing.
Nolan Arenado, 1 for 2 on the day. The big home run in the first inning. Pitch 81 for Brian Mitchell.
This is what we always point out with certain pitchers, that they come to Coors Field and some of the numbers are going to say, hey, this person might not make it out of the first or second inning. But with Mitchell's stuff, we knew he had big fastball, and we noticed that he had a great curveball, but he hasn't been using it. He's gone to more of a cutter and a changeup.
The ERA for Brian Mitchell coming into the game in the first inning was 13.50. After that, 2.87.
He settled down nicely.
Yeah, he's now given up 10 runs in 5 starts in that first inning, including the Rockies 4 today, as Nolan fouls that off.
When the opponents were hitting 389 against Brian in the first inning, then it goes down. He finds his rhythm. But tonight, the Rockies answered that first with 4 quick ones by the home runs of Nolan and Trevor Story. Well, up in the bullpen for the Rockies is Harrison Musgrave, just called up today.
If Harrison gets in this game, he'll be making his major league debut. Oof, Nolan right back up the middle. His second hit of the night. Giving a base runner for David Dahl. Now you can watch your favorite Isotope stars make their journey to the majors with the Colorado Rockies. AT&T Sportsnet is your home for Rockies baseball all season long and is available on most cable and satellite packages. Visit AT&TSportsnet.com for channel information. David Dahl, of course, was just with the Isotopes.
As was Harrison Musgrave.
Exactly. Dahl got called up yesterday with Noel Cuevas, who made his major league debut, and David Dahl gets a knock to center field. You know, his timing looked a little behind his first at-bats yesterday, and he just felt so much more comfortable as the day went on. I can imagine start number 2 and against a righty, feeling very comfortable today.
Well, that's why we pointed out Jose Quintana for the Chicago Cubs yesterday. Very difficult left on left, and for David, I think what was important for him, especially after missing an entire year, was to make sure he got a steady dose of at-bats. That's why going down the minor leagues, even though it wasn't his favorite thing, given the fact that he led all National League guys with RBIs in spring training, was important for him. So you get that good timing. And you saw the stark difference between a guy that's been in the minor leagues for 3 weeks compared to somebody that starts the season off as a young rookie on the bench.
Trevor Story an opportunity now with a runner in scoring position and 2 on. Get a home run earlier, 2-run shot. Walked and a stolen base, and Robbie Erlin is back up for the San Diego Padres. He had to get up in the first inning.
Yeah, that was about an hour and 45 minutes ago. He was up.
And now that arm's tight again. Robbie Erlin's last appearance was a spot start for the Padres, so this would be his first time coming back out of the bullpen. Here's the 1-0 to Story. 2-0. You know, we talk about major league debuts. Brian Mitchell kind of had a short major league debut because he didn't debut. He got called up, was warming up, his arm got hurt, and he had to get sent back down. So he had to wait for a couple more months before he could finally make his major league debut, and that was back in 2014 with the Yankees. Story right at the second baseman, and that is going to be a double play. Rockies, they're going to leave 1 on after 2 singles from Arenado and Dahl. Over 5 innings pitched for him, 5 hits, 4 runs, all earned. That came in the first inning. 5 strikeouts, 2 walks on 94 pitches, 60 for strikes. And he allowed just 1 hit in his last 17 batters. He of course walked 2 as well. So now pitching, Harrison Musgrave. He's making his major league debut. He was selected today by the Colorado Rockies as they had to place Chris Russin on the 10-day disabled list. Here's his minor league numbers, just over a 4 ERA in 80 games with a 31-19 record.
Well, this is a great story, and I think for a lot of people, this is amazing to see him. From his son, who is about 9 years old, Alexander, to maybe some of his college coaches that pushed him along the way, just understanding his journey of grinding from Tommy John in college to getting a big wake-up call where some of his college coaches called him out, said you need to start working harder. Very special moment for the Musgrave family, I could only imagine.
He'll be facing Carlos Asuaje. He's 1 for 2 in the game with that home run back in the first off Chad Bettis. And his first pitch is in their first strike. That's a good start.
That's a great start.
Great start. Think about the nerves that are going through him. I mean, Jenny, you know.
I'm with him.
Right?
I am with him today.
Yeah, that's how players feel when they get called up to the big leagues. Yeah, it's been something you've done your whole life, but this is a different stage.
Look Right on the swing was Aswahe, 0-2. Does spring training help at all from a player's perspective? We saw Harrison a lot at spring training. You get to pitch against big leaguers. It's not a big league atmosphere. You're both shaking your head silently. You're pulling your Charlie Chaplin answer on me.
We're just shaking our head no, that you can't compare the two. I mean, I think
so there's no training ground to make your major league debut, basically, in that regard.
No. No, I think there's a small part of it that does help the first spring training you go to, so you're not quite as in awe of who you're lockering next to.
You did a spring training game. How much did that help you calm your nerves today?
I'll Charlie Chaplin you back. Gets the ground out. McMahon will take it. And one down for Harrison Musgrave.
So I'm sure, just like when Harrison found out last night that he was going to be in a major league game, he was probably reliving some of the moments and trying to figure out what it would feel like to be on a major league mound. How about you, Jenny? Did you do anything to prepare yourself for a major league game?
Yeah, I did a lot to prepare, and sometimes you start spinning your wheels and you've never sat in this chair and you've never done a whole game and you're starting to wonder, am I doing the right things? Am I looking at the right numbers? Am I reading the right stories? And then you have to realize, and a lot of people, including both of you, have told me, you've been doing this for 12
That's
years,
right.
And you know what you're talking about, and you know the game of baseball, and
did
yeah,
you practice anything unique? Did you get ready?
I see where you guys are going. Is this where you're going? Are you going to make me go there?
I would like it.
Well, my husband is great at helping, you know.
Yeah.
He wanted to help out. So he threw in MLB The Show last night and played the Rockies and the Padres.
And you called a video game?
I called a video game. We had to turn Matt Vasgersian's voice down.
I'm sure Matty doesn't mind that.
See, that's awesome.
In all seriousness, it's kind of fun because I worked with Matt my first year in the game in 2007 when he was calling Padres games. And so someone actually from the Padres side of the media brought it to my attention. They said, oh, it's pretty cool that your first major league game you're calling is the two teams you've worked for, the Padres and the Rockies. It's like, oh yeah, that is cool. It all comes to a head, but you know, it's such a different franchise now, 7 years later, than it was when I left San Diego. Freddie Galvis, the batter, 2-2. Gets him swinging for his first career strikeout.
I think what we've seen in the last 2 days, or 3 days, I should say, is we've seen managers not afraid to use guys they just called up. I mean, Harrison Musgrave, first two guys, he's right into. This is a 5-4 ball game. Yesterday, Noel Cuevas getting the start. The day before, Bodie for the Cubs. Madden threw him, the local kid, at third base.
There's the baseball that's going to go in Harrison Musgrave's collection. Those are cool moments. It's cool that Tiny, Mike Ponarelli, gets to be the one to give it to him. Going to try and bunt, and Harrison Musgrave says, no thanks. Corey Spangenberg's out number 3. So a quick 1-2-3 in Harrison Musgrave's major league debut. We'll move on to the bottom of the 6th next. League debut day, a 1-2-3, 6th inning with a strikeout. Getting some congratulations.
You can breathe now.
Heck yeah. Take his hat off, get some water, throw the seeds in. You're a big league ball player, buddy.
That's right. You'll have a number. And if you go baseball reference, there's typically every single ball player that's ever played has a number when they join Major Leagues. So there's a little bit over 19,000 Major Leaguers in the history of the game.
What's your number? I know you both know it.
13. Let's see, wait.
I guess you don't know it.
13,132nd player to play in the big league.
Yeah, and I don't want to cut myself short. So.
Yeah, you better look it up then. Ian Desmond right back at the pitcher.
So you were 13,000 what?
13,132nd.
Now is 16,327.
Imagine that. So 3,000 plus between the two of you. Andy Green comes out. Looks like Brian Mitchell's day is done. It's time for Robbie Erlin. We'll be right back.
Your attention now, pitching for the Padres.
To you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. And by Cheyenne Frontier Days. Log on to cfdrodeo.com for the full lineup. Pitching change here at Coors Field. Bottom of the first, 1 out, and the Rockies lead 5-4. Bottom of the 6th. And Robbie Erlin is coming in. The left-handed pitcher. Will be his 7th appearance of the season.
He missed all of last year after having Tommy John surgery back in May of 2016. Righty's hitting just 194 against Robbie. Lefties a little bit higher since it's a 232 average against.
So we looked up some numbers in the break, trying to figure out what number Harrison Musgrave is probably for his Major League debut. He's somewhere in the neighborhood of 19,230. So he's either 19,230, 231.
We'll know tomorrow, because tomorrow he will actually be listed in Baseball Reference.
Man swings at the 1-1, 1-2.
I was also curious how many other Major League players were born in his hometown of Morgantown, West Virginia. Jed Jerko is one. David Carpenter.
Gets McMahon striking out, looking. First out for Erlin, second out of the inning. You know, you mentioned 19,000 plus players have made their Major League debut.
No, that's played in the big leagues, period.
Right,
Yeah.
made their Major League
Yeah,
debut.
yeah, sorry,
right, they
sorry,
played in the
sorry,
big leagues,
yeah.
So they could fit in the Pepsi Center.
Yes.
Right?
That's crazy, isn't it?
I mean, when you just visualize that, and you're going back to the 1800s?
Yes.
Late 1800s on that?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
You think about that.
You want to sit in section 323 with Babe Ruth?
Yeah.
Hey,
I'd love to.
Yeah,
I'd
that's
love
great.
to. They would probably be in the 100 section.
Yeah, that's actually very true.
Spilly and I'd be up in the 300. But
They'd
you
be
can
on
come
the
sit with
glass
us.
if we want to keep
Yes,
it the hockey
yes.
reference.
Come sit with us, right, bud?
I think we're in the club section.
The concourse, the club section.
That's okay.
Take any section. Are you crazy?
Noel Cuevas is on deck. He'll be the pinch hitter if it gets to him.
When Jake McGee is getting loose in the Rockies bullpen.
And Tony Walters strikes out. That will end the 6th inning for the Rocks. 5-4, we move on to the 7th.
Rockies fans on the run.
Time for the Cooney Lexus look back at this game. A couple of home runs for the Rocks in the bottom of the first helped Chad Bettis out after he gave up 4 runs in the top of the first, and then was Ian Desmond coming through with a big RBI double. 5-4, that's where we stand as we head to the 7th. Jake McGee is going to be pitching for the Rockies.
The game has slowed down a lot more given the first couple innings. It's become a bullpen battle. It's prime for what Bud Black wants to do, using his best guys. But yesterday's game, the Rockies bullpen was pretty taxed.
6 relievers used yesterday.
Jake was one of those 6 at third of an inning. He did have a strikeout.
Jake facing A.J. Ellis, gets ahead in the count, 0-1. All inside, 1-1.
Here, the wind. We've had a lot of everything tonight. We've had rain, we've had lightning, and now we've got some wind here.
Hopefully no tornado to follow.
Unless it's the one made out of cinnamon and dough.
Yes.
Take one of those.
You're speaking my language, friend. Ellis fouls that one up back. 1-2 the count.
So going back to the 21 pitch at bat, there was a great tweet and somebody tried to figure out the average baseball cost wholesale to a team about $8.30. So it was something like 16 foul balls, and it worked out to be $130.
Wow. Who has to work overtime for that? Strikes him out looking. So he gets A.J. Ellis for the first out, and Matt Caesar will be the pinch hitter.
Rockies baseball is always live with the MLB at Bat mobile app. Stay connected all season with broadcasts, video highlights, stats, news, and more.
Caesar sends that ball out to left field, and Ian Desmond can't make the catch. He's chasing it at the wall now. Caesar's going for two, and he'll be held up with the double.
This ball, Ian Desmond, great jump off the bat, but he's going to lose it in the lights. You'll see his reaction as we watch it on replay. The ball squared up, hitting the left center, and right before he gets to it, you'll see he looks back right where he loses it in the lights, and that happens on low line drives.
Be a double for Caesar because, as you said, Spilly, lost in the lights.
Cordero, the batter, runner in scoring position for the Padres.
Cordero won Rookie of the Year and also MVP honors this past winter in the Dominican Winter League. He hit 323.
He's one of those guys so far in just the handful of games that he's played in. He's already ranking up some of those StatCast numbers with hard hit exit velocity.
1-0 pitch. That one's sent out deep to center field, and it's going to find the foul tips. Two-run shot for Cordero, his first hit of the game, and that puts the Padres ahead 6-5.
Fourth home run of the season for Cordero, and Spilly, you were spot on with that. That hard hit ball by Franchi. This is four-seam fastball. They wanted it away, and you can see Tony have to reach back across his body. That was inner third. .456 feet was the estimated distance on that ball.
He's now homered in 4 of his 7 starts this season. Will Myers, the batter. 1 out for the Rockies. 1-0 pitch. It's foul.
And off the bat, Jake McGee knew it. And there's a certain sound hitters make when you square up a ball and you get enough bat speed, and the ball off Cordero's bat is loud. First home run of the season was here.
That's right.
About 11 games ago against the Rockies.
Well, when he came off the DL, when Manuel Margot went on the DL.
You mentioned his monster in Arizona, the 489 feet.
Should be 500.
I saw your tweet about that the other day.
Still mad about it.
Think about that in Arizona, because, you know, last year you wouldn't have thought much about it. But this year with the humidor there, and I've seen some balls knocked down there because of the humidor, but to say it traveled that far with the humidor ball,
hitting balls that hard. Maybe the humidor doesn't come
matter.
into effect.
Yeah.
3-1 pitch. Will Myers finds a hole on the left side. And that's a single. Second hit of the game. Check out the StatCast. I mean, Spilly mentioned it should have been 500 feet.
Powered by Subaru.
Oh, this is this one.
Yeah, the exit velocity 113.7 miles an hour, 456 feet.
I was referring to the Arizona one, not that one.
Not
that
that
was
one.
not
That,
500 feet.
No.
You know, I think they're excited about him, though. That's when you talk to Padres, people that cover the team, when you talk to people in the organization, they talk about signing Hosmer to a big deal because you're trying to build around this young core of talent and players that you have. There's been moments where we've seen a lot of pop, a lot of promise, a lot of power from them, but it hasn't always been the case each game for them this year.
No, they haven't had their true healthy lineup either. I think you see Hunter Renfroe go on the disabled list. Margot has been on the disabled list. Jenny just mentioned him coming off. If you look at some of the talent, Christian Villanueva, who leads all of baseball in OPS right now, on base plus slugging, he's got off to a great start. He's not in the lineup today because of a hamstring.
So that was the Rockies' third visit out to the mound this game. And you get 6 mound visits per game this season.
I think part of the reason why Tony Wolters went out to the mound was to buy a little extra time. Scott Oberg is starting to warm up in the Rockies bullpen.
He checks the runner. Jake McGee struck out the first batter and then allowed 3 straight hits, including the home run to Cordero. Now he's trying to get Hosmer. Ball just missed, 2-0.
In his time with the Kansas City Royals, a lot of Hosmer jerseys with the number 35 on his back. Now wears the San Diego Padres jersey with number 30. And that's paying homage to a former teammate of his, Jordano Ventura.
Three straight balls from Jake McGee. Hosmer with a single and 2 walks this game. McGee walked him again.
I think that's going to be it for Jake.
Looks like a double switch as well.
McMahon's coming off and
Purchase your tickets online at Rockies.com. The Padres adding 2 on the top of the 7th inning. Rockies looking to put down a rally. They've gone to the bullpen and brought in Scott Oberg. Some moves to note. Pat Valleca will now move into the pitcher spot, batting 9th and playing first base, and Scott Oberg will move into McMahon's spot, hitting 7th. And for Oberg, you can see the numbers on the screen. 10 innings and 10 strikeouts, but more importantly, he has been great at getting some of the inherited runners. 9 out of 11 have scored, and this is an opportunity for him to put down a rally. He's looking for a double play.
He's going to have to, because the Padres are 4 for 6 tonight with runners in scoring position, as Oberg will face Perella.
Padres are 9th overall in all of baseball with runners in scoring position. The 279 average. Going.
Runners are going. Throw down to Arenado. Not in time, so a double steal.
I was going to say mark it in the column for me because it's a stolen base, but this is all on Will Myers. He was moving almost before that pitch was delivered. Second stolen base on the year for Myers. Now you're going to have to play the infield in.
Oberg resets. Confusion, so Tony Walters is going to go out for the 4th mound visit for the Rockies. Just getting on the same page, Miss Signs.
Yes. You know, and you can look at just 2 mound visits left. Obviously, if you make a pitching change, that doesn't count. But you're in the 7th inning, so you want to make sure this is one of those moments that'll keep you in the game. If he gets a base hit, then it obviously extends it by 2 more runs and a little harder deficit to come back from.
That'll be a strike, so Oberg gets ahead 0-2.
Scott was hurt yesterday with a hanging slider to Javi Baez in the 7th inning. And that was with 2 outs, and he was ahead in the count. That time, to Jose, he buried that one. If you bury it too, you got to put some pressure on Tony. Good block.
Yeah, Tony blocks that one.
It just helps a pitcher know that you can have faith in your catcher to throw that pitch in the dirt. You want to bury your off-speed pitch. Perella hits lefties better than righties. His batting average a good 100 points lower against right-handers.
Oberg with the 1-2. Goes low, 2-2.
Get 2 or 3 choices now if you're Scott. You can go fastball, but if you do, you could go way up, or you stay down because that's a harder ball to try to elevate, or you go back to the slider again.
Perella to DJ. DJ's coming home, and Turner will make the tag. Goes on as a fielder's choice and saves a run.
That's an unbelievable play. You got to tell me how hard that is to make, Huey, because that looks like he's on his back foot.
He is. It takes incredible arm strength, which TJ has, but he's on his back foot, and you've got a fast guy in Will Myers. So watch how he catches this. You don't have the momentum going home, so it's almost like you're turning a double play, get rid of it. But for Tony, he caught a little bit of a break from Will Myers in two regards, because you had the bat right there, and he also sticks when he goes to make his slide.
He did a pop-up slide before he hit home plate.
But not where you want to pop up.
Exactly.
And so he was trying to maybe get up and around that instead of a hook slide, going out and around, reach it with your toe or your hand.
First pitch swing for a Swahe with runners on the corners. And kudos to Tony for keeping that baseball in, because they got a little tangled up in a dance too. Not sure how hard he hit him after he hit his own foot first.
But that's why he had two hands on it. It's just to make sure it was secured.
Two outs for Scott Oberg. The 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
A rare changeup from Scott. I know it says 90 miles an hour, but his fastball is 95 to 97. Slider would be pretty hard, but that one went down. This is where a team like the Padres, 0-2, a delayed steal. A lot of managers like to do it with the lefty at the plate.
Swahe back up the middle, and that's going to score a run. But holding up at second is Perella.
Two strikes, caught too much part of the plate. Reaction from Scott Oberg. As soon as he threw it, he knew it. He wanted it to go up. Wanted it higher. He missed it right past his glove. It looked like the ball just cut back over the middle. Did a Swahe a favor.
Now Scott Oberg will have to face Freddie Galvis, 0 for 3 on the day, trying to get out of this inning.
Go back to that pitch a moment ago, and we'll freeze it right where Tony is. He'll want it right up in here. But instead, it goes right over the middle part of the plate. It's 0-2.
Yeah, it cuts right down the middle.
Ball's 2-0 to Galvis. Swahe now has 4 RBI on the night with that 3-run home run in the first and the single RBI right there here in the 7th. That's a career high for him.
He's turning into a Rockies killer.
Scott Oberg gets a strike, 3-1. Time called.
Now the game has slowed down dramatically. Position players, you can always tell by the position players when the hands are on the hips.
Standing straight up. 3-1 fouled off, 3-2.
You're talking about the Swahe. I kind of went back in my book now. There was a game that I did not have in it, but right now, what I can count for Swahe, he has 10 RBIs, 7 have come against the Rockies. Now, I know they played a lot of games. Yeah, I understand that. But still, how about the other, 15, 16 games they played?
And he loses Galvis to load the bases on a walk.
And this is where the bound visits come into play, Jenny, because typically you would have a catcher run out and try to settle down Oberg, or maybe even have a pitching coach come out and say something. But with the Rockies down to 2 mound visits, You're on your own.
Corey Spangenberg, the 9th batter of the inning. 4th one that Oberg's facing. He's 0-3 on the night, 0-3. Swings and misses for strike 1. Swings hard, misses for strike 2. 0-2 count, good for Oberg to get ahead.
This is where he was with the Swahe, and he made the mistake. Now you got to finish him off. I think you go back up into that up and in territory.
0-2 on the check swing. Down. Did not go. That goes down for ball 1, 1-2.
Tambolino not making any friends at Coors Field. I don't think he was. I think it was a check swing anyways. I don't think he went.
But the fans always want to believe that he did. Ball 2, 2-2. You can feel the importance of this at bat for Oberg. It's a big confidence at bat. He needs to get out of this inning with bases loaded.
No question, and the game really hangs in the balance right here. 2 runs still. We've seen the Rockies come back 4-0 in the first inning, but getting down late.
That ball hit hard. DJ's gonna make the leap, but over his head into right field. 2 runs are gonna come home. And now the Padres lead 9-5.
And they've hit around this inning. Well, pull the hands in enough on the Subaru Supermo, and DJ, he came within 6-7 inches of making that catch. But all this damage has been done with 2 outs. The last 3 runs.
Three of the runs belonging to Jake McGee, but goes back to the inherited runners problem that Oberg has had. Now allowing 2 runs himself. 2 on still, and need to get that last out. Facing Ellis for the second, or he's facing Ellis for the first time this inning. Ellis batting for the second time. Jake McGee got him striking out, looking. Fouls that one off, 1-1.
So now Buddy's trying to figure out just how to piece together the rest of the game as far as getting outs. Did not use Senzatella yesterday.
Senzatella and Reed Davis, the only pitchers not throwing yesterday. No activity in the bullpen now. This is Oberg's to get out of.
And just a reminder too that Chris Russell went on the DL today, so that's why Harrison Musgrave pitched earlier in the game. So if you're sitting at home thinking, well, what about Chris? And if you missed the news earlier, got a strain of his oblique intercostal muscle. But Jenny and I and Billy, we were all talking to Chris earlier today that kind of felt it on the last pitch, but it's not as bad as it was last year. So we saw Harrison then make his major league debut. He's a starter down in Albuquerque with a 3.38 ERA.
A.J. Ellis takes that pitch, makes it 3-2. Chris saying it's kind of frustrating because you can't feel it besides just pitching. He thinks throwing activity would hinder it, but the good news in that is it shouldn't be that long then. Hopefully the 10-day DL or not much longer and get Chris back. So here's Senzatella warming up, as Spilly mentioned, and that is ball 4.
And there's no way for, unless Tony decides to go out to the mound, which he is. He's giving signs.
That's going to be
They're
a
gonna
visit,
count it as
though.
a
They're
mound
going to count
visit.
it as a mound visit.
He took steps towards the pitcher.
Did they point back and say it was a mound visit?
No, I think.
Currently, they're showing no mound visits available,
Yeah,
but
but
that
there
should,
should be
if
two.
it's just one, if they did just take away one, there should be one remaining.
Yeah, I think Tom Hallion did the wise thing there. He didn't. He could have easily called him for it, but that's why he waved his hand, saying no mound visit.
One's back on the board. Steve Foster's now going out. Will this complete that mound
No,
visit?
no,
or-
because the first thing he did when he ran out, he pointed to Tom and asked if he counted one against Tony, and Tom told him no.
But that's where I think a veteran umpire like Tom Hallion gets it. It's not letter of the law as far as he went off the dirt onto the grass. He went a step onto the grass, but he understood the situation. So I really applaud Tom tonight for that, because we saw in Washington where they made 2 mound visits, they said, for Tony, and it was a mistake by the umpire, which it shouldn't have been. Tom got it right.
Mound visit math. Who knew you would have
That's
add that one to the
exactly.
resume? There's a first pitch strike to Matt Caesar. Doubled in his first at bat this inning, facing Jake McGee. Now facing Scott Oberg with the bases loaded. That's going to be foul. Oberg ahead 0-2, exactly where you want to be in this situation.
Now you got to finish it.
Second opportunity this inning to do it.
And
for Scott Oberg.
remember though, it was Caesar that hit the line drive that got hung up in the lights,
That's
and
right.
Desi couldn't see. He makes that catch. It's 2 out, nobody on.
But it's never good to play the what-if game.
No, I know. I'm just saying a ball, but a ball like that.
Absolutely. Here comes the 1-2. To Nolan, that ball is foul. But Nolan still completes a beautiful play.
He does it all the time.
And partially too, to maybe just stay loose, stay on the balls of your feet. I was just handed a stat that you're going to just shake your head in disbelief. That just on this homestand, the Rockies have allowed 18 runs with 2 outs.
I'm shaking my head.
Yeah,
On the homestand,
the homestand.
we're gonna add more.
That's going to find a gap. Here come 2 more. The throw's coming home from David Dahl, and it is off. 2 more plated. A 7-run 7th inning so far for the Padres.
Well, it's got to be such a frustrating feeling for Scott Oberg, knowing that you have hitters put away with 2 strikes and you're not able to locate the baseball where you want it.
Bud Black's ready to make a change. Looks like Senzatella is warmed up, and he'll come in to try and get the last out of the 7th inning. Padres scoring 7 runs to take the lead 11-5. score right now. Jenny Kavnar with Ryan Spilborgs and Jeff Houston tonight. That was a frustrating inning for the Rockies because you talk about a Padres offense that ranks 12th in total runs. They're below the Rockies, who have low offensive marks so far in this early season. They now have a season high of 11 runs, and we're in the 7th inning.
I think when you look at it, it just comes down to execution, location, and for when you're looking at McGee and Ober, just this inning specifically with 2 strikes, unable to put the hitters away.
And like I said, just on this homestand with 2 outs, now that's 20 runs that the opposition has scored with 2 outs. 20.
Franchi Cordero will be the batter, facing Antonio Senzatella. I mentioned that it was a season high for the Padres, 11 runs. The last time they had 11 runs was back in August of last season. They had 12 runs at St. Louis.
Darrow hit the monster blast 456 feet to center field off of Jake McGee. Antonio is in a much different role this year than what he started out last year. I know he pitched in the bullpen in the second half, just trying to limit some innings. It's been a steep learning curve for Antonio. You know, last time out he got nicked for 4 runs, and Bud said afterwards that he didn't think that he pitched that bad. There was some seeing eye base hits, a few other things. That was a game against the Cubs, and that was that Friday night affair.
The 2-1 pitch to Cordero. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. The defense is begging Antonio Senzatella to end this inning.
The guys are jumping around, hands on their hips, taking the gloves off. A long inning.
12th batter of the inning. 2 on, 2 outs, 2-2. Back up the middle. Story makes the play. Oh, Valleca off the bag. Again, Valleca came in that double switch.
There's 2 guys for the Padres just in this inning that have 2 hits apiece. Matt Caesar and now Franchi Cordero. Back up the middle. Trevor had to range far. Once it went over Antonio's head, you knew it was going to be a tough play, and then Trevor making the spin, but he had beat that anyway. A little bit of a trouble getting it out of his glove, did Trevor, but how about the effort from Pat Valleca? Just keep that ball from going off to either the dugout or at least the fencing.
All while trying to hang a toenail on the bag still to get the out. So the base is loaded once again in this inning. Will Myers steps to the plate to face Antonio Senzatella. Pitch in there for a strike. Will Myers so far in this game. 2 hits, 2 for 4. Double in the first. He singled already in this inning.
Stole a base 2 in this inning. Stole 3rd. Padres 8 for 11 with runners in scoring position. 4 for 5 with runners in scoring position and 2 outs.
Well, so far, we got the tick-tock going. 37 minutes for this inning. You both have had to play through one of those. At least it's not snowing today. There's the bright spot.
37 minutes.
Well, Myers hits one to left field, and he's going to have extra bases with more runs scoring for the Padres. 2 more plated. Cordero held up at 3rd.
You got to remember at the start of this inning, the Rockies held a 5-4 lead.
So another guy that has 2 hits in this inning, Will Myers. 3 hits on the night, 2 RBI. Pulls that one down into the corner. Padres have plated 9 guys.
Three consecutive batters with multi-hits this inning. Hosmer coming to the plate, who's reached base every at bat, 3 walks and a single. Ball's high, 1-0. Talked about the Padres and their numbers with runners in scoring position on the season. I think this inning will inflate those a little bit more.
Yeah, I would agree with you, especially with 2 outs. Come in 3rd in all of baseball. The Padres with runners in scoring position and 2 outs, highest in the National League, 326, and what are they now, 5 for 6 with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. So that'll definitely go up.
To Hosmer.
And the interesting part too for the Padres this inning, because they use a pinch hitter, essentially there's no pitcher to hit to try to get one of those outs.
Gets a strike, 3-1. Hosmer had 10 walks on the season coming in, and now his 14 walks, his 4th walk of the game. Bases loaded yet again.
So what did you say, 37 minutes a few minutes ago?
A few minutes ago.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
probably say it's over 40 at this point.
Yeah, so that last pitch was pitch number 62 of this inning. Oh, I added one. Sorry, my math's not good. 61 pitches this inning.
A long inning.
Jose Perella, the hitter. Ground ball for a fielder's choice.
I lost track of my chicken scratch trying to figure out the number of pitches.
Trying to get some quick stretches in between pitches. There's a strike. The crowd likes it. 2-1 count to Perella. Fouls that one off. 2-2.
Crowd begging for the final out. For baseball, it's $8.30 right there.
That's right.
Looking for a ground ball to get out of this.
Take anything.
There's the ground ball. DJ is going to go the easy way, and that is out number 3. a 40-plus minute inning. And the Padres take a very big lead, 13-5 over the Rockies.
Surrender 9 runs, but we got to celebrate something tonight, and that's going to come in the form of Walt Weiss as we continue our Rockies 25th anniversary celebration. He is number 23 on our list, and all of us here remember him both as a player and as a manager. Jenny, you have even more experience with him as your dad and him coaching together. So what do you remember the most about Walt, and maybe your fondest memory?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's weird to say that Walt Weiss was my dad's assistant coach.
Yeah.
But he was for 1 year, a couple years actually, and then took over the program at Regis Jesuit High School. My dad retired, and obviously Walt ended up managing here, and we got to work with him closely as media members. So looking forward to celebrating Walt tomorrow and all he did as a player in a Rockies uniform, number 22 and number 23. And I can't wait for you guys to hear his story that he has about coming back for the 1998 All-Star game. Very cool story. So we'll share that and plenty more tomorrow, and hopefully fans will share their awesome stories and photos as well.
First time I met Walt Weiss, 1986.
Now you're dating yourself.
I
here.
know. I was playing for the Burlington Expos. He was playing for the Madison Muskies.
What'd you do in that game in your third at bat?
Well, I'm not going to say that I hit a home run, but I did. No. So that's the first time I met Walt.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it was pretty cool.
A lot of history.
A lot of history. A lot of history there.
My favorite part of Walt Weiss was that he had a great sense of humor, so much so that we often spent a lot of time talking about a list he created. Him and Brett Boone, when he was spending time, I believe he's with the Braves, and they came up with a list of overrated things in baseball.
Okay.
So it started with the autograph, because Walt always thought it was funny that people wanted somebody's autograph. What do you gonna do with my signature on a baseball?
Pat Valleca back up the middle, and his first at bat of the game came in as a double switch in the 7th inning. It was so long ago, he almost forgot. That was Pat's first at bat.
40 plus minutes ago. So go on.
So from the autograph, it's led to other things in baseball. What are overrated? Eye black. Overrated. The yellow line up on top of a major league wall. What's it there for? What happens if it hits it? Nothing.
Nothing.
How long is the list?
Oh, it's long.
There's a lot of things
It's gone into.
that are overrated about baseball.
Yeah.
Concourse Billy, is that overrated?
No, that's not overrated. Underrated. The coach's box.
That is overrated.
Okay. The fungo circle.
Yeah, why is there a coach's box? They don't stay in it ever.
Hey, just follow along. The on deck circle.
Again, Charlie's or not even standing in it. There's Stu not standing. Stu Cole not standing in the coach's box. Not to call you out, Stu.
Yeah, none of them do.
Charlie not standing in the on-deck circle.
That's why it's all overrated.
Yeah, but if you stand in the on-deck circle, that thing's made of like rubber, so you slip.
DJ with an 0-2 count. Is that for a ball? 1-2.
1 or 2 for Andy Green. Craig Stammen in the game. He's their late inning guy when they have got a 1 or 2 run lead. But because that inning went like it did, he said, well, I've got to use him anyway because he's hot. He's ready to go. I don't want to sit him down and get somebody else going who might not be ready.
He already did it with Robbie Erlin. Oh, that ball is going to stay not fair. It looked like it bounced right on the line. Not fair. It's overrated.
A fair ball is underrated.
Why is it a foul pole when it's fair? Is that overrated?
Yeah.
Add it to the list.
There's a long list. It trickled into just everyday life. Favorite one, and I know Walt's favorite one, driving gloves.
I can see Walt not appreciating the driving glove. Especially if they match the driving shoes.
I always liked the street sweeper. I always felt like it just moved dirt from one side of the street to the other.
I feel like we've digressed after a 42-minute top of the 7th. By the way, the rest of the game at that point, 2 hours. So foul ball.
Will Myers kind of ran over there, and he looked like he was going to stop right on the line and say, this is where I was going to play DJ. Now he's moved off, but he's asking for a little direction. How far do you really want me from that line?
Row 15, section 9.
DJ working a 3-2 count. Full count, the Laker going. DJ sends this one to center field. And the left fielder will play the baseball.
That's one of those that you have to account for the shift where he hit it, but it was the left fielder, as you said, Jenny. How do you mark that in your book?
F7.
That's how I do it too, but I'm just saying, do you say with the shift?
I used to write a little S in the upper corner, but the boxes aren't that big to fit all the information you'd like. So I gave up on counting the shift. Plus it was happening so often, there were a lot of little S's.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, is there a B by that? Is that a stolen base? I'm really confused.
I think at first, and that was what started with the strikeout being a K, is that you already had the S for the sacrifice bunt. You had the SB for the stolen base. And I think they thought at first they were going to do an ST for strike out.
Ground ball to Galvis. It's Valeka at second, so Charlie's going to stay at first.
They ended up just going for the K.
I'd like to ask you how the backwards K came about, but I feel like Tracy Ringlesby has told me this story several times, and I should know the answer. So I'm going to pretend I know the answer
Save it for the next time.
and not ask you the question. Google.
Wikipedia for everything.
There he is. Our friend Tracy Ringlesby. His signature lid. And swings at the first pitch. Got you some strikeout information, Spilly. Went straight to the Google. So you were definitely onto something with the S.
Okay.
The K came about because it's the prominent letter of the word strike.
Okay.
So that's where the K came from.
Now you got to Google some more on how you got the backwards one.
I think it was just to differentiate. As simple as that. Caught looking with the K backwards.
There you go.
Two and two on Nolan.
Kind of like Phil Rizzuto when he would keep a book, and then somebody would come back and he would have WW in his book.
Oh, you're going to tell me about WW?
Yeah, wasn't watching.
I like it.
Yeah,
That is a good one.
He didn't know what happened, so he would write WW.
Nolan sends that ball to right field, and it is caught by Will Myers.
WM.
Rockies get a runner on, and they'll leave the runner. We go to the 8th.
And see history in the making with Jenny Kavnar calling this game in the booth. Looking forward to it, Jen. Good luck. You're going to do fine. You're going to do great.
Chancey watches the game, the full game tonight.
You might watch the bottom of the first.
Okay.
Those are 2 home runs you're going to want to watch.
Yep.
And 2 home run calls you're not going to want to miss, if you know what I mean, buddy.
Forgot about those.
Oh, boy.
Yes. 2 home run calls.
Fire up the fountains.
Well, all we need now is a couple of grand slam calls, and got ourselves a ball game,
There
folks.
you go.
Antonio Senzatella stays on. Carlos Asuaje 2 for 4. He did not hit twice in the 7th
No, he
inning.
did not.
But he had one of the 2-out hits.
A lot lot of 2-out hits, a lot of runs. 9 runs in total for the Padres in the 7th inning. The last time they scored 9 runs in an inning came back in July of 2014 against the Chicago Cubs. Ball's deep in the outfield, and playing chase is David Dahl on the sliding catch.
It's a great play. We've seen Charlie Blackmon not running at his best, and David Dahl, who in the minor leagues typically has played as a center fielder, having to cover quite some ground. It's an easier play for the right fielder if he can get to it versus Charlie, just because it's a difference for a left-hander with the glove side. It's played by David Dahl.
Freddie Galvis takes the strike. Hitless this game, but did walk in the 7th.
I read this great story about Freddie Galvis and his friendship with Jose Perella. They've known each other since they were 16 back in Venezuela. They were in a tryout, and Galvis had heard of Perella all throughout the island as being this really fast kid, and of course Galvis thinking he's fast as well. They match up, Perella versus Galvis. And I guess, according to lore, Galvis had his doors blown off. Perella blew right past him.
Really?
That ball went off Senzatella, redirected, and it's going to go down as an infield hit. So Freddie's first hit.
Let's take a look at some of the StatCast numbers brought to you by Subaru. Off the bat, you have to get a good angle, and David Dahl reaching his full potential, sprinting about 28.2 feet per second, covering 92 feet. That's pretty good.
It's a big outfield. Not easy to cover all that.
Now, we did the math because we did this yesterday for Drew. We're trying to figure out in layman's terms.
Oh, so you have to do math for Drew too. It's not just me.
Yeah, it's not just you.
Must be that chair.
No, because you know you have to do it from the upstairs all the time.
Okay, so most of us understand things in miles per hour, things we're most comfortable with. 29 feet per second sounds really fast, but if we were to translate it into miles per hour, it's about 19 miles an hour.
That was a short way to get the out. So basically you're saying that in a school zone, he could run right next to the cars.
Yeah, you get a ticket.
So this will help you from the other day, tell you what's elite, what is average in the major league level, and then what is poor.
I still think 23 feet per second is not poor.
I was going to say, what's very poor then? It's like the average person.
Because I guess that's 15 miles an hour. 23 feet per second is 15 miles.
So we had this discussion then. So after the game, then I'm going to start going at 15 miles an hour and see, or have Spilly take off, and then I'll hit 15 and see where he's at.
I like that measuring stick.
Well, we wanted to know in comparison with some of those numbers. All right, 30 feet per second. If that's elite, what's Usain Bolt? We found out, Jenny, Usain Bolt's running 40 feet per second.
That's crazy. I was actually going to ask you that. His name popped into my head.
Which is 27 miles an hour.
Oof. Can you get that on the treadmill?
No. Well, not the treadmill that I go on. I should clarify.
Not the one at the local gym out in Parker?
Not at the Lifetime.
Senzatella with a 2-2 count on A.J. Ellis. Runner on first and a chance to keep A.J. hitless. He will do that with a strikeout. Rockies get out of the 8th. We go to the bottom half.
Brought to you by UC Health. This offseason, Trevor Story went back home to Irving, Texas, not only to be with his friends and family, get his workouts in, but to get with his hitting instructor, Brandon, showing off one of his hitting drills that he does to start off, throwing the lid of a bucket. Now, if you're wondering why is he tossing a lid of a bucket, you can imagine what it feels like to throw a Frisbee. And for a hitter, there's a feeling a hitter wants to have is when they get underneath the baseball or underneath the barrel and using their elbow and trying to put that into their body and push it through. So that's basically what Trevor Story was recreating by throwing a bucket lid.
I like that. I've never seen that before.
It's cool. Is that on your bucket list?
Well, not anymore, but it could have been. But I like what it says, though, because you have to drop your elbow down into that slot to hit. And so if it's riding too high, you're not going to be able to get that
right.
to fly very far.
You'll kick the bucket.
Definitely don't want. That's not on my bucket list.
Your puns are getting out of control. Jordan Lyles pitching for the Padres, the former Rocky. Falling behind 3-1, the count to David Dahl. Hey, Philly, did you try that exercise?
I did.
How'd it go?
Not good.
Trevor made it look so pretty.
Is this me?
What did you do?
Oh gosh, I think the first one I threw it straight in the dirt.
Oh.
Oh gosh.
All right, so you gotta like.
What'd you do with the second one?
Oh, I love it. You see his
You can't
was
even
perfect.
show it. It was so bad.
So what'd you do with the second one? What happened?
Well, if you remember my playing career, I hit a lot of ground balls to second because I got jammed, and a lot of grounders to short. So the second one, let's see, is this the grounder to second? Oh, no,
Perfect.
to short.
Perfect. Right on cue. David Dahl striking out. A.J. Ellis is going to throw down to Hosmer for the out. You know, there's a lot of pressure on Trevor Story with you going to do your big hot shot show. So we know you did it last season with Charlie Blackmon. You went and fished with him. You did all his workout routines. What does he do? He goes and wins a batting title.
Yep.
Right?
I mean, I'm not taking any credit for that.
Sure.
I mean,
You shouldn't.
but I'll get some mojo for it. Juju on that beat.
I feel like it took you 2 weeks to recover from your workout with Charlie.
Well, from Charlie, yes, and from Trevor, I still have not yet recovered.
What was it? Honestly, what was the
just the
main
cold weather,
difference
don't worry.
between the two of them?
A little bit more lateral movement for Trevor Story. Quicker.
Makes sense.
Yeah. A little bit quicker lateral adjustments.
It didn't
I
hit
thought
him.
that nicked him.
I thought it did
I'm
too.
sitting here
I'm waiting.
looking at you guys because I thought it nicked him,
Well,
and
that's
then
what
he's
I
not moving towards first and he's walking around.
I was waiting for him to go down to first. No,
I mean,
you know what? It hit AJ's
AJ
glove.
That's what it was. I said it.
Yeah.
It definitely made a noise before it hit the backstop. Trevor sends that one to left field, and it is caught. Out number 2.
So more lateral movement for Trevor because he's an infielder. Needs that first step quickness.
And for Charlie, it was, and part of it was the day that I was working out with him. So for Charlie, it was an explosive leg day. It was more catered towards jumps. For example, stealing a bag or getting his first step quickness and then running in a straight line. Where Trevor, we were doing lateral, touching the cones and moving side to side. And even the workouts were a little bit more designed for shorter burst, something similar to what Trevor would do, first step quickness, just in a different way.
1-1 on Ian Desmond.
Some of those things did you do as a player, or
Yep.
I mean those type of drills?
Ian Desmond, grounder to third, and Spangenberg gets him out. 3 up, 3 quick outs for the Rockies as we move to the top of the ninth.
I suppose. Maybe it's just to stay warm as we are top of 9 with Corey Sullivan, Connor McGahee with you out in center field. We got post-game coverage coming up, Corey.
Yeah, and 9 runs, 15 hitters. 3 guys are going to have multiple hits. Yeah. This is what's going to happen in the 9th inning for the Rockies. That's not what happened in the 7th inning for the Padres.
7th inning for the Padres, 9th inning for the Rockies.
Yeah, that's the way it's going to go. But I want to talk to the guys up in the booth real quick. Jenny, I'm incredibly proud of you. You did an incredible job so far, and you stuck me with this guy. I hadn't met him until halfway through the season, so his new name is Mr. Reyes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I wish people could hear your off-camera antics, because I think you two became best friends today, and I think I'm out permanently. So
Jenny, is it okay?
Get ready, Connor. You'll be hosting a lot of games.
Oh, no
is it
chance
okay if
at
they
all.
build a bunk bed?
Yes. Seriously, what they're acting like.
So much room for activities.
Oh my gracious. Oh, you two. Well, if nothing else, you can entertain us during the post-game show. They'll also have the answer to the CenturyLink high-speed challenge question, which had to do with movie dad, or not movie dads, movie coaches.
It could be movie dads.
Coaches or dads.
Or both. Well, if you're Matt Caesar, he came in and pinch hit in the 7th inning. And you're walking around the clubhouse with your chest puffed out because not only did you go 2 for 2 in a game that you only lasted about 3 innings.
He had a couple ribbies.
He had bragging rights over some of the guys that made outs.
He also took his average up. Right now, 68 points.
DJ.
Let Coors Field be the backdrop for your next game day or non-game day meeting or special event. Groups of 15 to 200 will enjoy great views of the city as well as the field from this unique venue.
Franchi Cordero coming up. Two for 5 on the night. Hit a home run back in the 7th. 2-hit 7th for Cordero. The line's coming in from that 9-run inning, and Jake McGee going to be responsible for 4 of those runs. Scott Oberg, 5 of them. Either way, it did not help their ERAs. Swing and a miss for Cordero.
love reading some stories about players and their journey to the major leagues. Franchi Cordero's is an interesting one too, because he's always been, you see the size and you see potential, but in the minor leagues, he had a season where he was a shortstop. He made 44 errors, Huey.
44?
In 56 games.
That can't feel good.
Wow. Well, you remember, though, Derek Jeter had 50-something his first year in pro ball.
And you've managed some of the lower levels.
Yeah.
I mean, how hard of a conversation is that with the, and what kind of errors are they? Every single one you could imagine?
Probably, yeah. Every single one you could imagine. You see some stuff that you shake your head and go, I never thought I'd see that. Like, so you know, you're like, oh, I just did.
Oh,
okay.
One to Will Myers. Ball's outside, 2-1.
Well, how about this, Huey? So he makes 44 errors in 56 games in 2012, and I'm sure everybody was trying to help him out, yourself included. And 2 years later, he makes 51 errors in 56 games. And that was when they said, we're going to put you in the left.
Uh-huh. Probably smart.
Maybe it's because he was too fast. He overran the ball.
But
Got his feet too far up.
But here's the point, and we saw it with Harrison Musgrave, and we see it with major leaguers every single day. There's times where a player's going to doubt that they'll ever make it to the major leagues.
Will Myers hits one back up the middle. This is not going to shock either of you, but Will Myers has a 4-hit day against
the Rockies.
The Rockies. Hosmer's coming up. 4 walks for him in this game and a single. The count on Hosmer. 10 walks coming into this game and 4, adding 4 tonight.
Chalk up this game to another game so far where the Rockies are just going to wish it was over. First night Friday between the Cubs and the Rockies, but Black mentioned right after, he said, hey, you have to watch this one off. This one's not one of those games where you're going to re-look at the highlight film. And you'd hate to have 2 in the same week.
2 in 4 games. Where you gave up 16 runs, and right now you're sitting on 13 runs.
Jordan Lyles is going to hit. A pitcher when he was with the Rockies that took some pride in his ABs.
He's a great athlete.
Myers on second, Hosmer on first. Again, 4 walks for Hosmer's a new career high for him. Strike, 1 and 2.
And for the Rockies, when you're looking at so far on the season, the amount of series that they've played, if they've lost the first game to open a series, they haven't won the series.
Got Jordan Lyles, and that will be out number 3. We will move to the bottom of the 9th. Padres lead 13-5. the Rockies score 7 or more runs. Well, you'd like for them to score 7 runs and a few more. They're down 13-5 to the Padres as we go to the bottom of the 9th, and the pinch hitter Noel Cuevas coming to bat. Noel making his major league debut yesterday, an 0 for day, so still looking for his first big league knock.
Well, I hope he gets it right here, and it's your voice that he hears when he gets his first major league hit.
Good swing, fouled that one off. I hope he hears the whole country of Puerto Rico. He has been such a great ambassador for his hometown and all the tragedy that they had to go through this winter with hurricane season. He saw a lot of things that he said were life-changing. So that 1-0-2. Day 2 easier? It's probably more challenging coming off the bench, though.
Yeah, but you got a good night's sleep.
Yeah, that's true.
The night before, you don't sleep much.
It's true, but you can run on adrenaline, but you still want a result.
Yes, yeah, and you don't want to wait too long.
Cuevas with that opportunity in a 2-2 count against Jordan Lyles here in the top of the 9th. He'll go down swinging.
What at bat was it for you?
My 3rd at bat.
Your 3rd?
First game.
Okay.
My first game. My first game. So great. Let's take a look at tomorrow's starters. Game 2 of the series, Eric Lauer will be pitching for the Padres. Kyle Freeland will get an opportunity with the Rocks to try and get him in the win column this series. He's going to be making his 5th start and still looking for that first win of the season. It's in there for a strike. A 2 count. Is it weird to face a guy you've caught?
Yeah, well, it's always weird to face your friends. Play for Swahe. Yeah, it's so strange when you spend a lot of time with people on one side and then you have to compete against them. Like, you get it when you're golfing and you can compete against your friends when you're golfing or playing ping pong, but it's different when you're facing somebody at the major league level.
Well, for so long you had a common goal, right? You had to work hard, you had to be their therapist as his catcher. You had to get him fired up and geared up, and to face him. I feel like they're going around there for a strike. Here's the 0-2, and Valleca runs out to shortstop. So that is how the ball game would end at Coors Field. 13-5 the final. The Padres with a 9-run 7th inning. 15 batters got an opportunity, and that was the difference in this one. Let's get you out to the post-game set with Connor and Corey. Take it away, guys.
Jenny, thank you very much. Great job tonight, and to the other two as well. Corey and I are going to go out for a rip on our post-game show. Hope you'll join us.
Watch out,
San
buddy.
Diego wins big in the Mile High City on this night.